the huge crypto collapse, and the very suspicious trader who was able to cash out $190 million. They are part of Trump's inner circle.
This is like a meta-level issue. This is a Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton.
It's really anybody. Here's 3 left-leaning people.
They were hyping up Trump to release those Epstein files, which he has still not done.
What they really care about is being able to weaponize the Epstein files.
Trump was the one who ran on it, and now he won't release it. He's the only one that weaponized the Epstein files.
Trump just got a COVID booster.
The COVID controversy was not really about the vaccine itself.
Trump literally said the vaccine is bad, except for the one that came out during his administration.
Ignore things that make you have to think. That is the cult mentality of MAGA.
But I don't think that Trump has a monopoly on cult behavior.
Yeah, he does.
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
This is the guy we're talking about. Asmongold is almost acting like somebody who is like paid by Trump. I mean, he should be. He should be making money off of all these lies that he's pushing. All right, silly gooses. I'm curious about this video. It's Asmongold's take on MoistCritical's video we covered the other day, which I thought was pretty impressive. I enjoyed the video from MoistCritical. It was solid. Let's see. I'm sure Asmongold feels the same way. So
this has been a very, very, very controversial video.
I remember growing up thinking,
why?
that brainwashing and mind control was...
Has it been? I don't know if it was... I don't know if I've seen that, but okay.
Just something you see in comic books and cartoons.
Nope.
Now I know it's a very real thing that you can see happening daily in this country.
Yep.
Now, the big thing I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about...
I wonder what Asmongold's example of mind control is going to be.
About a lot here.
People have lost their fucking minds.
Yeah, the internet's something.
A bunch of blabber in here and drool coming out of my mouth as I'm spitting because I'm about to be getting pretty passionate. And the big focus is on the huge crypto collapse from yesterday. And the very suspicious, very lucky trader who was able to cash out $190 million off of it because they were shorting Bitcoin and Ethereum a day before and all the way up until a minute before Trump's Truth Social post announcing the massive tariffs on China, which crashed the entire market.
Damn.
I don't understand. Why is he like being so animated? Does he just feel like he has nothing to say? So he's just gonna... Whoa!
And then 30 minutes later, they cash out $190 million. It seems like they might have known something.
What the fuck? Why is he just... Whoa! Does he just feel like he needs to have commentary? I mean, so the shorting a stock, basically, from what I remember. So from my understanding, what shorting a stock is when you basically like rent somebody's stock for a certain amount, and then you sell the stock, and then you hope that it does poorly, so that the stock price goes down, so that you can buy the stock and you can return the stock to the person that you basically like rented or borrowed it from. That's what shorting a stock is. Whoa! That's probably the more. That would probably be the better commentary for Asmongold to have to show that, like, you know, or look into what that means for his audience instead of just feel like he has to go, whoa, whoa.
But that can't be, right? That would be corruption. And this administration doesn't engage in that kind of nefarious activity.
No.
Except for all the previous times that this exact same thing has happened with Trump announcing things on Truth Social that people close to him that suckle his fucking teats must have had insider knowledge on because they're able to cash out millions upon millions of dollars. Because
like he's announced tariffs and then it's like crashed the market for a bit and then people have bought it and then he's like, oh, we're pulling that back. And then you see people like Marjorie Taylor Greene making considerable amounts of money. I mean, he's even went far as to one time saying, oh, you should buy now like an hour before he rescinded the tariffs, I believe.
His rinse and repeat cycle of threatening tariffs, backing off tariffs, postponing tariffs, just fluctuating the market up and down, yet people in his inner circle must be privy to this knowledge because they are making absolute bullseye trades based on that before it becomes...
I think Charlie's right about this, and I think this is a meta-level problem.
Well, probably, yeah. I mean, Void was a CoffeeZilla made a video about it, which, I mean, CoffeeZilla is probably one of the most credible people on the internet, and so like if he says something, you're generally going to have listening to what he has to say is probably going to be the right thing to do because he's such a credible individual, especially like with whatever he talks about. So
I think that anybody who's involved in government needs to be barred from making any trades or having anything to do with political trading whatsoever. Sorry, stock trading or crypto trading or anything like this.
Yeah, so like I generally agree. I would imagine that he's talking about short-term trades. I think it's fine for people in Congress to be able to do like you know, long-term trading, like investment into like the S&P 500 and shit like that. I don't have a problem with that. But doing day trading when you are specifically When you specifically are making policies that affect those trades is obviously going to lead to some level of corruption. It seems like it's a bipartisan thing. I think a Republican presented the idea of doing that currently. So I'm not sure. I think Obama was trying to push for that, but nobody gave a fuck. No, that was something different. I think I'm thinking of like single issue like bills instead of like packaging them together. Anyway. So yeah, I generally agree with this. I mean, this could definitely shore up a lot of these fucking problems.
And this is like a meta level issue. This is a Nancy Pelosi. This is a fucking, any of the, like a fucking Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, anybody.
It's just so funny because like the way that he's talking about it, it's like, it's really anybody. Here's 3 left-leaning people. Okay. Why not give it's people on the right too? Like this is, and like I said, it's a bipartisan bill that wants to get rid of it. I don't think it has like full support. But like you notice how he brings up just people on the left. Do you think that that's intentional, guys, or do you think it's not intentional?
I would say this is a huge issue.
I would say this with anybody on the left, of course.
They should not even be able to own stock.
They're being stupid now. That's dumb. They should be able to own stock. They shouldn't be able to day trade stocks. There's a very big difference between the two of those things. Okay. They should be able to invest in stock. That's what I'm talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just saying things. It's perfectly fine if you are in Congress to own stock. Long-term investment stock is perfectly fine to do. It shouldn't be okay for you to do short-term stock trading because you have a lot of power and insider information on the way that there's going to be policy on these things. Okay, these are 2 very different things. Be a little smarter about it, please. Funny enough, my understanding is actually Obama took the first step to banning this. So Obama signed in the Stop Trading on Congress Knowledge Act into law in 2012, which banned members of Congress from using non-public information gained through their official duties for insider trading. However, the legislation did not ban short-term buying and selling. So, like, it's a nice sentiment, but it doesn't really do enough. You could argue that that's a step in the right direction, just like Obamacare was a step in the right direction for when it comes to healthcare. We really need to lean towards a single-payer healthcare system, which is actually, I would say, good for the economy, because then it takes that stress off of businesses to have to provide it, and that would be great. But, like, Obama seems to actually be somebody who tried to take a step in the right direction, funny enough.
It's such a massive conflict of interest. And maybe their immediate family. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I don't know if I'd go that far. I probably would. But one thing I'm certain about is they themselves should not be doing it. And their family shouldn't be doing it. Sorry.
Oh, I think you just said that they should.
Their spouse should not be doing it either.
Oh, okay.
Then they would just leak information to somebody else. Yeah.
Sure. It's a fair point.
But they definitely shouldn't be able to.
Okay. Day trade is better than not own stocks at all, but okay.
Why do politicians get off the hook? I don't know.
Because nobody cares enough about it. Like, that's the problem. Nobody cares enough about this issue to like push on it. Like, if we really cared as a society, we could meaningfully get our government to implement single policy votes. Like, instead of like, here's 40 different policies, let's vote on it and see what's good and bad. We could get Congress to do single policy votes, like Obama was trying to do. But we don't care enough. A lot of us don't care. A lot of people are very cool with like making up wild conspiracy theories about how vaccines are making your penis explode. But they're not so keen on doing the shit right in front of our face, where it's like, oh, Congress is, basically has insider information. We're very bad at actually productively directing our outrage. We don't care enough. We get distracted by like every other dumb fucking thing somebody will present. We literally do not care enough to actually make meaningful change. We are very stupid. We are very lazy as a society, and we don't like actively care enough about making these changes. Because the reality is that if like we cared enough as a society, it would probably get done. Like politicians, I think that there are some people who are meaningful and they want to do well, but they get caught in a system that eats you up and spits you out because of like so many lobbyists. If we cared enough, though, it doesn't matter if they agree with you or not. They're gonna be like, well, I want to stay voted in, so we're gonna have to push for the Congress to do individual bills so that you can't package a bunch of bullshit together and then deny other things. If we cared enough, we could get Congress to stop fucking day trading. We could do it. We actually could do it if we mobilized ourselves. We don't care enough. We don't care. You are lazy. I am lazy. We don't do enough. We should do more. We don't care enough.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a problem.
I agree with this. This has been a problem for years.
public. So this isn't really anything new. It's just the most egregious instance because you can literally see it. This account opens and starts shorting Bitcoin and Ethereum a day before this announcement, and then a minute before.
It's like somebody you give somebody their math your math test, and you're like, okay, copy it, but don't make it look obvious, and they just go one for one. That's it.
What?
The Truth Social
all right, sure.
post goes live.
Yeah,
like it's unbelievable. And if you're a MAGA cultist, it actually is unbelievable. They refuse to believe it. They refuse to accept the very real reality that they are getting fucking hosed.
Yeah.
Trump.
it's very likely that somebody that was involved with Trump's administration made this decision.
Sure. Yeah.
Or somebody that's privy to knowledge that they shouldn't be aware of made this decision. And
well, it was Trump's policies that directly impacted this, so it was probably somebody that's attached to Trump. Yeah, sure.
I think that there should be an investigation into who did that and making sure that that person never has access to information again.
You don't think it could be Trump? You just think it's somebody else? Donald Trump will fire you if you don't bow down to him. If he's not doing enough to deal with the issue, that means that he was probably involved. It's interesting, though, how light he'll tap Donald Trump for any wrongdoing.
And potentially also criminal charges. Barron Trump.
Just potentially. Okay.
I don't know. Nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that I feel like I've always.
So do you think that Donald Trump's just incompetent and let somebody do this? You don't think that it should be Donald Trump? He's the head. It's his policies, no?
Always felt this way.
Okay.
This isn't a Trump MAGA cultist opinion.
It is a little bit. Because Asmongold's not a stupid person. So yes, it is a Trump cultist opinion. He has this opinion. The opinion should be Trump definitely knew something. It was his decision to make, which means that if it got leaked, it's his responsibility because he should be going harder against people leaking this, and he should find the person who did it and he should fire them. But it was probably Trump because the fact that he's not doing that insinuates to me that Trump probably knew about it, right? And say I don't think that that's a silly opinion to have. I think that's the most logical opinion to have. But I guess we just pretended to not consider that.
This is a meta level problem that's affected politics for years.
And Trump's family's net worth has exploded since becoming president. Yeah. How do you defend that? Well, I'll tell you how. Because they say Trump is such a benevolent saint, he actually doesn't even keep his salary from being president. Wow, that's how much he cares about the American people. You fucking delusional homunculus. The presidential salary is actual peanuts. It's literal fucking used condoms in the grand scheme of how much money him and his family are making throughout his presidency. When he was being fucking sworn in, he was still launching up to 168 new products. And that doesn't even...
No. While he's in office, he was doing the Trump phone. He did the Trump phone.
Yeah. Do you actually care about that, or you're just saying it to make it seem like you're a both sides guy?
Include things like his cologne that he launched.
Whatever happened with the Trump phone, by the way?
My understanding is some people are getting quadruple charged for it.
Yeah.
Carter PC's got quad charged for it for no reason. It's fucking crazy.
Whatever happened with this? Are we going to get those or not?
Okay. Trump
watches?
Sounds like you're cool with it, I guess.
He didn't? His family did? Well, when are they going to do it?
Trump Gooch galore smell, the Trump watches, the Trump phone and shit like that. So that has only increased the amount of things that he is hawking to the American people to buy solely to enrich himself and his family, his fucking meme coin and all of that. His family...
Yes, some people speculate that the bitcoins are being, or the whatever coins are being used so that they can take money from other countries without you knowing, which I think is an interesting theory.
I think that the meme coin is indefensible. The meme coin was definitely bad.
Then why aren't you more outraged by it?
I don't see how anybody can spin it as not being bad.
Well, you don't seem to care, so...
And especially when Melania Trump did the same thing. I mean, really, it was bad. I mean, I don't... There's a big problem that I think a lot of people have where they can't, this is somebody I'm generally pretty pro-Trump, right? I'd agree.
No kidding.
With a lot of things he's done, not everything, but a lot of things he's done.
Like what?
For example, the Middle East stuff. I've been glazing him for the last hour about that, right?
Oh, the potential deal. Yeah, I think that's a good thing that he might have gotten peace between Israel, Palestine. One of the problems that you're going to have is that one of the things that you could criticize, though, is Donald Trump has not necessarily been good in the Middle East. if he ends up getting a W on this, like, great. I think it's a great thing. But Donald Trump came in overly supportive of Israel. Donald Trump left Palestine out of the Abraham Accords, which is like a conversation about like basically the Middle East, which is going to exacerbate tensions. I mean, I don't know that I would say overall he's done a particularly great job in the Middle East. I would say that generally speaking, he I hope that he gets that this is positive and productive. But I wouldn't say that overall he's done a great job in the Middle East. I don't think that pushing like fucking unhinged AI videos about destroying Gaza and then putting hotels there. And there was a point where he was talking about like moving Palestinian people out of there. I don't think that's a particularly good or productive.
But this definitely was a bad decision. And I think that a lot of people have this fixation in their mind that they're allergic to any degree of nuance or complexity to any issue. And I think that this aversion has caused them to delude themselves to a degree that's unhealthy. And so what's happened is that people will always try to come up with excuses for why something bad happens on their side. But the reality is that sometimes people that you agree with can do things that are wrong.
Sure. I wonder what his take is on the Epstein files. I wonder if he's willing to like wash that away. I don't know.
And that doesn't mean that the people that you're...
One of the problems is like the more egregious shit that Trump's doing, like, violating people's due process and restricting freedom of speech by, using the FCC to go after people like Jimmy Kimmel or to remove statues where people have like legitimate permits to put up because they criticize him for Jeffrey Epstein or deny certain media organizations into what the fuck am I saying? Hearings, briefings, what the fuck am I saying? Basically media briefings, or to have the Pentagon, have all these media organizations sign exclusive like contracts where they can't talk about anything that they see in the Pentagon, which is a massive threat to transparency to the point that even Fox News isn't willing to back that, which I don't think was happening when he posted this video. Actually, it was yesterday. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't something, but I just Donald, he doesn't care about that. He doesn't seem to care about that. He doesn't seem to care about people who are undocumented that have been here for a long time, that are productive members. He doesn't seem to care about those individuals, So it seems like all the like really bad shit Asmongold doesn't think is bad. He doesn't seem to like really care very much. So like, he shouldn't have like a phone or whatever. Like, okay, but that's kind of one of the minor issues. The more major issues are the fact that he's violating people's freedom of speech and he's engaging in pretty aggressive, disgusting shit. What do we have? Like, there's conversations about potentially bringing back conversion therapy. There's disinformation campaigns about how Tylenol causes autism without any actual meaningful proof. There's so many different things. So it's controversy after controversy. We're talking about one of the worst presidents the worst president in my entire lifetime, both the first administration and the second time he ran. They've been pretty catastrophic. His biggest thing that he did in the first, in his first run was cut taxes in a way that was so unsustainable that it contributed to inflation, right? What did he do? He demanded the Fed keep interest rates low, which puts more money into the market. And then he basically decided to cut taxes instead of like cutting services before cutting taxes, which led to more money in the market, which in the long term is going to have a profoundly negative impact by drastically increasing inflation. And then COVID happened, and he was leaning on pushing conspiracy theories. Right, so we're talking about a very unproductive, very bad president, considering that he inherited a reasonably stable economy. The biggest issue being that technology was something very difficult for us to catch up to. And then the second term has just been like a fucking complete mess. But like Asmongold doesn't care about these things, like the major bad things he doesn't care about. He'll only really be like, oh, well, these little things like having a phone or a watch, that's bad. You shouldn't do that. That's pretty bad. But he'll like lightly tap that. He'll lightly tap the entire situation when it comes to, it's clearly Donald Trump knowing about or passing on information, in my opinion, so that this person could short the stock and make however many millions or billions of dollars. Because if he actually cared, he would fire the person who did it. Right, so clearly he doesn't give a shit. Right, so that's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get light tap criticisms like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Like, oh, you probably should wear underwear if you're gonna fart. Like, that's what we're gonna get here. Meanwhile, you literally like the stinkiest, fucking, most disgusting person in the entire world. I'm not saying Asmongold is that person. I'm saying like if there was the stinkiest, most disgusting person in the entire world in front of you, most people would be like, you need to shower and like change your habits. Asmongold's like, well, you probably should put underwear on when you fart. Like that's basically what it is. Like, yeah, it's a reasonable criticism, but there's probably something else that like is actually a problem. But he doesn't really care about it, I guess.
Agree with that are doing it. are evil, like in all cases. I mean, people are complex. There's good and bad things that people do.
Whoa.
But
Both
trying
sides.
to force every single person into being like this black and white cookie cutter thing because you're afraid of dealing with the nuance of the human condition is just simply setting yourself up.
The nuance of the human condition. Isn't that empathy? Aren't you like very against empathy?
To fail. It's you're building a web of lies. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to everybody around you, and you're just being delusional.
Okay.
And I don't know why people do this. I really don't. I think this is I'll probably say this a lot. It seems like it's one of these videos, right? This is a both.
I think what's happening here is that like Asmongold doesn't have anything really meaningful to say, so he's going off onto a rant that's like kind of irrelevant to the video. He didn't really want to talk about what shorting a stock was. He didn't even want to look it up and educate his people on his stream. He's like, yep, this is true. Sure, that's true. And then he went into like an entire rant about how like, oh, he actually disagrees with Trump on some stuff. And that's why he's a good person. That's pretty much what it is. It just seems to be a ramble to get commentary out, even if the commentary isn't necessarily relevant to the conversation.
Sides issue, right? So I think that people constantly try to look up for excuses for why their side does something, but when the other side does it, it's bad. And I think this is a massive issue overall. Okay. This could all be true. Yeah, it is.
Cool.
It's all or nothing thinking.
In terms of how much money they are making off of his presidency. They're not even hiding it. They are just constantly making money off of you. As you suffer and get less and less money, they get more and more. They are taking the pizza and not even leaving you bits and pieces, morsels of the crust. Yeah. It's sad, and yet people love it. They will accept it with a fucking smile on their face and say, please, give me.
It's very easy to understand why they do that. So this is Charlie's. I think he probably does understand this, but like a lot of people's misunderstanding, maybe Charlie's, it is actually very easy to understand because you just don't understand what their value system is. A lot of times people perceive hypocrisy because they don't understand the scope of a person's feelings. The fact is that they don't really care whether Trump is a scammer. They don't care whether Trump was...
Yeah, there's a lot of people in MAGA that don't give a fuck if Trump like shot somebody in public. They've said that, like, I don't care if he murders somebody. I don't care if he wants to be a dictator. That's not everybody. I think a lot of people just don't care because they're so burnt out on it. Like if I asked my mother, like if she gives a fuck about any of this, she'd be like, she wouldn't really. It's not something that's like in her scope. You know, there's so many other things going on. I think a lot of people just aren't really aware of it, and they brush a lot of it off as like, oh, that's just the media, you know, being dishonest in some way or the other, or they consume Fox News and they're fucking incredibly fucking insane because Fox News is the most deceptive news organization out there, even if they all engage in different, deceptions. So.
Was cheated on his wife, or whether he was some weirdo or some other shit. They don't give a fuck about that.
Right, we're talking about him shorting stocks and selling like merchandise and making like an insane amount of money as a while virtue signaling, and why not taking like a presidential salary. I don't really know what. Nobody is going to care about the cheating stuff because it's very low on the radar.
The only thing that they care about is that Trump is able to enact the policies that they want him to enact.
Okay.
Trump is not a person to them. He is a tool.
Whoa,
and I think that another parallel to this is Hassan. The reason why a lot of people don't care about the dog at all is because Hassan represents a value system that transcends what his individual behavior is as a person. So Hassan and Destiny is the same thing. People just don't even give a shit whether, oh, Destiny said this thing or he did this thing, whether he did or he didn't. He's in this lawsuit. The reason why people still support Destiny is because Destiny represents an idea that transcends what an individual is responsible for. And I understand that, like, you can probably look at,
sure,
you know, the president of the United States and hold them to a different standard.
Yeah, I probably would hold the president of the United States to a different standard than Hassan and Destiny. I would probably do that in fucking droves because he's an actual president of the United States and not some fucking terminally online streamer that rage baits on the internet for attention.
Than a YouTuber. Sure, I think that's fair. But fundamentally what we're talking about is the way that humans perceive things. People will be more than willing to accept a horrible person if that horrible person will do something that they want.
Are you saying that, like, Trump is a horrible person, or... I would say comparatively, Trump is not is way worse person than really any Democrat running. But okay.
And it's really just that simple.
Okay. Sure.
And the hypocrisy for this is actually not hypocrisy, it's a lack of perspective. You think that their value system is what they're saying. It's not, and it never was. Their value system is actually about achieving these meta-level goals, and even if they have an imperfect messenger, that's better than having no messenger at all.
No, I don't. Okay. Yeah, the second part, yes, but it doesn't. Okay. He's just talking to talk. The value system thing, though, like I could understand, like my mother or my mother-in-law might have a value system that prioritizes a certain thing, but they're like, well, I only get two choices, so I'm going to deal with the one that I feel is more representative of me. Sure. I don't think that means that they don't have a value system. I don't really understand that point. I think I have to listen to it again.
Their value system is actually about achieving the objective. You think that their value system is what they're saying.
What?
It's not, and it never was.
This doesn't make any sense. He's just talking to talk. Okay.
And
just move on.
That's the real reason.
Gotcha. Thanks for that.
And once you look at things through that lens, you'll understand why so many of these issues of hypocrisy are actually not hypocrisy.
What?
People just perceive it as hypocrisy because they've bought into the lie that it's been about principle to begin with. It was never about principle. This is what I've said before.
Oh, he's justifying people putting up with Trump's disgusting behavior. Okay, I understand what's happening now. It took me a while to get there because he's just kind of like mushing my brain with some of the things he's saying. But that's basically what he's saying. It's like, hey, listen, it's okay to one side something because, like, who really cares? By the way, isn't the Trump phone so silly? Hey, but it all really boils down to maybe he was a little creepy with somebody or said some bad things or cheated on his wife. Like, let's just downplay it in real time.
Before about how by playing the game, you oftentimes lose.
Okay.
Some more. I've got more holes for you to fill. Please, come in here.
How's it different than Obama or Biden or Gavin selling a product to make a product, sell it right?
I'm sorry, what are those words?
The point, you can make a million arguments about.
I don't understand what the point is. Trump is an acting sitting president. Excuse me, fuck. I burped there. Didn't, like, Jimmy Carter sell his fucking house or something? Just so it wouldn't seem like there was some kind of conflict of interest and that he could use his current presidential power to influence people. His peanut farm, excuse me, it was his peanut farm. But, like, that would be what it is, an issue of a conflict of interest. Meanwhile, Trump is, like, selling fucking phones and bitcoins and this and that. So that's what it would be. Obama didn't sell anything during his presidency. Okay, I guess we're just going to breeze past it. Also, I don't know what Gavin Newsom has to do with it. He has apparently a financial stake in the Plump Jack Group, a collective of wineries, restaurants, and hotels. That, I think, is something to potentially criticize here. I mean, that sounds like a conflict of interest. When Newsom became governor in 2019, his ownership interests in the company were transferred to a blind trust. This arrangement meant he is no longer involved in the company's daily management or businesses. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is that he can engage in policies that could have a positive impact on something that he owns. So Gavin Newsom should not be allowed to have this. I think that's like a huge issue because he could potentially enact, like, he should have been forced to sell that when he came in. That's a fair criticism on Newsom. I don't know what the fuck the Obama shit was about. Obama's not in office. So I don't really care if he owns a thing. But yeah, Newsom should not be able to own this. Yeah, so Biden also did not own or operate a business while he was in office. So what the fuck is he talking about? Obama and Biden?
The point, you can make a million arguments about it, but, like, I'm talking about I don't care about that. Like, that doesn't matter. Like, I don't give a shit about that.
Why?
Like,
why wouldn't you care? Wait, how are you going to care about day trading for politicians, which is them having insider information to make better stock deals or better stock trading, but you wouldn't care if an acting sitting president or somebody very influential in the government would own a business that they could potentially favor through different policies because they have the ability to enact policy? Why wouldn't you care about that? Also, when this person asked you the question about Gavin Newsom, Biden, and Obama owning businesses while in office, why didn't you fact check that? Neither Biden nor Obama owned anything while they were in office. Newsom does, which I think is an issue. It just sounds like he doesn't care because of Trump. This is a massive cognitive dissonance that we're engaging in right now. Like, he doesn't care because Trump did it. But this would be an issue. You care when other politicians do it. Why don't you, like, when it comes to something different with the same fundamentals, stocks, he cares. Why wouldn't you care about this? It doesn't make any sense that you don't care about this.
That's not my point. There's a much bigger issue and an idea that I'm talking about here that doesn't have anything to do with any one person. And hopefully people can understand that.
Give me some more. I've got more holes for you to fill. Please, come in here. I'm waiting. It's just absurd. They don't even stick to a single belief anymore. Like the Epstein files, I know I have made a lot of content on in the past, so I'm...
Yeah, Epstein files are crazy. Like the fact that Trump ran on releasing them, and then when he realized he was in the files, because he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 15 years, all of a sudden it's fucking crickets, and he's doing everything he can to create a new controversy to distract from it. It's actually pretty fucked up. I mean, if he just didn't run on it in the first place, I wouldn't necessarily have cared as much, but he ran on it. Now it seems like he was very close to a fucking pedophile.
I'm not going to regurgitate that, but the Epstein files are a really good example of how they really cared about the Epstein files, and they were really upset at the failure of Joe Biden to release them in that administration. So they were hyping up Trump about all of his promises to release those Epstein files, which he has still not done and still actively just like discounts, and the entire administration denying the existence of now.
Right.
And this same group of people that was so excited for Trump to follow through on that promise is now like, oh, he didn't break any promises. In fact,
Just say,
it's just not even important. That's why he's not doing it. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, who cares about the Epstein files? We have so many bigger things to worry about. Like what the next product we're going to have to buy from Trump is.
It's going to be the phone. It's going to be socks, maybe. So the reason why, and this is the reason why it happened.
Okay.
A lot of the people that were pro-Trump were very, very much in favor of releasing the Epstein files.
Yeah, they demanded it because they think that there's like a deep-seated government conspiracy that like support Epstein, which I don't know, maybe. I mean, I get it, but okay.
Trump said that the Epstein files weren't there. A lot of people, whenever Joe Biden was president, I think that they weren't really talking about it a lot too. I think that really people do care about the Epstein files, but what they really care about is being able to weaponize the Epstein files against their political opponents. That's what they really care about.
Okay. Trump was the one who ran on it, and now he won't release it. So people are like, what the fuck? Both on the left and the right. He's the only one that weaponized the Epstein files. What?
And I know this might be a very, very tough pill to swallow, but I don't think people really care about what happened or not. I think
that might be true.
A lot of people genuinely don't.
But like, you're making it seem like it's a both sides thing. It's not. Literally, Donald Trump ran on this, on releasing the Epstein files, saying that it was all the Democrats, and then now that it's time for him to pay up, he's like, oh no, wait, they actually made it all up to go after me because he realizes he's in it. What the fuck are you talking about? You can't just both sides everything. This is like why people say that you have like a fucking, like you ride the fence so hard. This is pathetic.
Because Chris Brown is still on the radio and he beat the fucking shit out of Rihanna.
Okay. Probably a difference between that and, you know, a massive child sex rape cult thing. But okay. Thank God we brought up Rihanna.
You have people like Sean Penn that beat the shit out of Madonna. You have people like Chuck Berry that married like a 14-year-old.
Those are all terrible. Okay.
You have tons of people that have done all these horrible things, and the public has accepted them to a general extent. This is true, and it's undeniable. And I understand that, you know, again, by me saying this, people might think that it's problematic, but I can come up with a lot more examples if you want. Jerry Seinfeld. People love Jerry Seinfeld. He dated a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah, these are all terrible things, and some of these are a product of different times, and they're wrong. I don't really know what this has to do with Donald Trump being best friends with a pedophile, running on releasing the Epstein files, and then refusing to do it when it comes out that he actually is in the files and was, again, best friends with him. I don't understand this weird downplay and not being frustrated with Trump. It's pathetic.
But do people still watch him? Yeah, they sure do. They think he's funny. And so a lot, and I can go on and on. Elvis people and too.
I mean, you could continuously go on and run defense for Trump if you want, and I guess you will.
Like, yeah, on and on and on about this, right? Mm-hmm. And so the point that I'm making about it is...
It's the downplay of Trump is what he's doing.
That the people that really cared about the Epstein files primarily cared about it as a tool to weaponize against their political opponents.
Yes, Republicans were doing that. Trump was literally spearheading that.
I think if the Epstein files were theoretically released and Trump wasn't in them...
He is in them. Even Elon Musk said so. We know he's in them. That's why he won't release them.
Theoretically. Then all of the people that were Democrats would not accept them.
Yeah, because we know he's in them. That's why he's playing this game and trying to have everything redacted. He's playing a game with us. What the fuck?
Even if they were real.
Okay. He's so fucking. I can't. He's like the entire thing is supposed to be a consideration that actually Trump might not be. He's in there. We know he's in there. He was best friends with the fucking pedophile. The fact that you're not outraged is concerning.
I'm talking about a hypothetical. If there's a hypothetical that if they were...
What do you think? Do you think there's a good chance? What is your actual opinion other than the hypotheticals that run defense for Trump?
Released and Trump was not in the files and not implicated, I think they would not accept them.
Of course not. Why would you accept them? He's doing everything in his control to not release them because he knows he's in the files. We've had different people say that he was in the files. What are you talking about? Of course they wouldn't accept them because it's very obviously he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein and he's in the files. Why would you accept that?
And I'll even go a step farther.
Oh,
I think that if Biden had released them and Bill Clinton wasn't in them and a number of other key people were not in them that were left-leaning, the Republicans would not accept them either.
Wow. Dude. You're both sidesing. Nobody's going to be like, oh, Bill Clinton's definitely not in them. He probably is. Nobody would... What do you... Okay, so... Okay, I don't even know how to engage with this. So fucking stupid, dude. On the one hand, you have Trump who ran on releasing the Epstein files as a part of draining the swamp. Turns out he's definitely probably in them. He's best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 15 years. We know that much, right? So now he's not releasing them. And if he didn't, he wasn't on it, we would know he was because that's why they're delaying so long so that they can come up with potentially some doctored version of it. Now we're talking about if Biden released them and Bill Clinton wasn't on there, Republicans wouldn't accept it. Like, yeah, probably, but Biden wasn't running on releasing them. So this isn't even a conversation that we would have. This is okay, sure. One of them is a fantasy scenario. The other one is actually happening. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm draining.
And I'm
draining my swamp right now.
That you have to look again. This is what I've said before. You might think that this is hypocritical.
Whoa. I've said this before, guys. I'm a good guy.
That's because you're not looking at it from the perspective of where their real values are. The real value is weaponizing this to hurt people that you don't like.
He's trying to make you think that the only reason that people are criticizing this is because the only reason people are criticizing this is because they hate the other side and there's no actual intelligence to have in the conversation. He's downplaying it. Hassan. Asmongold is almost acting like somebody who was paid by Trump. It's insane. I'm not saying he is, but I mean, he should be. I mean, he should be making money off of all these fucking lies that he's pushing. Fuck.
I think that this is what I've said before, right? How do I understand and try to perceive what people think? I think of the lowest, most base, most selfish, self-serving thing that people could possibly believe. That's why. And I think that I'm right pretty much every single time. And that's it. It's sad you have to keep saying the same thing as people don't listen. Well, it's because people don't understand. I think it's not that people don't listen. It's that people don't want to listen.
Okay.
That's the reason why. Because I think that people don't want to hear this. It's not. It's a very unpleasant reality, isn't it? I think it's an extremely unpleasant reality.
Okay.
But it is reality.
Gotcha.
It's my understanding of reality, at least.
Okay.
They're just now.
It's my understanding of reality, at least. All right. Love it.
Now saying it doesn't matter. We don't care. We actually don't want this information. Actually.
Yep. That's pretty much what Asmongold just did. So.
I believe everything they're saying now. Yeah, it definitely doesn't exist. Yeah, actually, Maxwell's probably innocent too. But again, I've already talked about that a lot. Let's talk about some other stuff. The COVID vaccine. Trump just got a COVID booster, not a conspiracy. Just out in the open, signed, documented, stamped. It is legitimate.
Yes.
Trump just...
Yep, which is insane because Trump was going on about how specifically the first version was great under his administration and everything else has been terrible since. So is he saying it's good again now? What's the implication there? He was just on talking about how bad vaccines are.
Got a COVID...
He just got somebody who does love RFK who thinks that all vaccines are bad and have caused more harm than good to come on. That's an actual thing that RFK thinks. This wasn't even the clip I was looking for, but this actually works.
Agree with me, though, that the vaccinations, they did save lives. It wasn't all bad and all poison and all these people died from the COVID vaccinations, that it helped save some lives and it did more good than harm. Would you be willing to agree to that?
I don't see how you make that statement.
Well, he definitely doesn't think the COVID vaccine was good. My verbiage was off, but this is what I was looking for.
So you have gained notoriety for your skepticism about vaccines. And over the summer in an interview, you said, quote, "There's no vaccine that is, safe and effective." Do you still believe that?
I never said that.
So stop me. We have the clip. Please play the clip.
Play the whole clip.
You've talked about that the media slanders you by calling you an anti-vaxxer. And you've said that you're not anti-vaccine, you're pro-safe vaccine.
That's nice.
Difficult question. Can you name any vaccines that you think are good?
I think some of the live virus vaccines are probably averting more problems than they're causing. There's no vaccine that is, safe and effective.
Wow, incredible.
So you did say it.
Yeah, he did say that. So listen, there's always side effects to everything, but safe and effective, they are generally safe and generally effective. Even with side effects, those side effects are drastically better than actually getting the virus. But hey, listen. Anyway, I don't even remember why we took like 10 minutes on that fucking clip. I don't know what the fuck we were even talking about. Let's just continue.
Good booster.
He did.
And this administration has constantly played into the MAGA fear of the jab. That was one of the big things with MAGA, is like how this is, contaminating us, poisoning us. They're trying to kill us with the jab. And now Trump...
Yeah, what does Asmongold have any commentary on that?
Just got the vaccine booster, and those same people, like Gunther Dickelman, are now applauding him for it, sucking a fucking fart out of his butt for it, giving him a full rim job like, yes, the president's healthy, this is great news. Meanwhile, only a few months ago, a big talking point from him and so many others is the COVID vaccine and the evil of it. But now that Trump got the vaccine booster, well, now they love it. Well, now it's great. Actually, Trump probably got the vaccine booster because he's going to immediately give all of us herd immunity. He is using himself as a selfless sacrifice with the jab, so that way his aura of being immune...
Does Asmongold just like giggle and laugh through stuff he doesn't want to talk about?
Immune to COVID will help infiltrate all of us via...
Maybe he's just waiting for it to be finished.
I think that the COVID vaccine controversy was not really about the vaccine itself.
What? What the fuck are you talking about?
I think that the real controversy was about the fact that you couldn't question it, and it was semi-mandatory for a lot of different reasons.
No, that's part of it. No, literally, Trump literally said the vaccine is bad, except for the one that came out during his administration, which would mean that Trump doesn't even care about that controversy. What you're saying just doesn't make any fucking sense. Donald Trump literally said that the vaccine, when it came out under him, because all these restrictions started under his administration, no, that one was okay. What are you talking about? Why are we doing a redirection? What are you saying?
That
fuck
was the real reason why people got radicalized against the COVID vaccine.
Trump said it was bad. I understand that some people were getting frustrated because there was heavy censorship around COVID, because like it was a catastrophic event that killed 1 million people in the United States alone over 3 years, based on excess mortality rates, not like stupid arguments that, oh, well, some people got shot by a gun and they reported it. That never happened. But that's not how we count this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It wasn't just that. Donald Trump literally said it was bad in the Tylenol press briefing.
I think that if you just looked at it, and I think that's really what happened. And so...
Yeah, well, you're wrong. Donald Trump actively said it was bad, constantly. Okay.
Basically, whenever you had to get a vaccine, like...
you have to get vaccines to go to fucking school.
Is a very, very strong line, and I think that people find it to be very uncomfortable whenever there is compelled medical behavior.
Everybody was forced to get vaccines before going to school, and we didn't have this problem.
Like, you have to take this medical thing. And I think that really, if you're just like a logical, reasonable person, you see that this vaccine comes out, it's been out, the COVID has happened for a year. A lot of other vaccines, these have been out for a very, very long time. And so people have a lot more trust in, let's say, the polio vaccine versus the COVID vaccine because of its tenure. So this vaccine comes out and immediately people have to accept it as being completely valid, totally unproblematic. And you had government officials at the time saying that if you got the vaccine, you wouldn't get COVID, which turned out later on to not be true. And I think that a lot of reasonable, rational people saw that, and it made them extremely uncomfortable. And the fact that they couldn't express that discomfort, and they also couldn't behave according to that discomfort, and they were compelled by either the government or by their job or by society as a whole to...
All of these things would make perfect sense if Donald Trump wasn't actively pushing the conspiracy theory that the vaccine was bad. And again, he said the first one was good, but the other ones were bad. So none of this makes any sense to what you're saying at all. The first iteration of the vaccine, Donald Trump applauded himself for constructing it, saying that was the only good one, that the other ones were bad because there were new strains of COVID, so now those were bad. What are you talking about? Like, what you're saying sounds reasonable, and it's part of the equation, but you're ignoring the actual reality of the world. Like, where Trump said that the first iteration was good, you're talking about the first iteration that came out under Trump. So, what the fuck are you talking about? Also, I don't know if you caught that, but Asmongold did like another, I'm assuming, intentional lie. He said that the first COVID vaccine came out a year after COVID started. COVID started in the beginning of 2020. For the most part, I'd say around March. If it was an actual year, Trump wouldn't have been president anymore, right? Because the new president, I believe, what is it, January 21st, I think it is. 18th, I don't remember. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's not relevant. It came out in 2020 because of emergency authorizations from Donald Trump. So even in this video here, Asmongold is trying to pretend that the vaccine didn't come out, the first vaccine didn't come out under the Trump administration. What? All these pressures happened during Trump's administration. Like, what are we talking about? What are you saying? What the fuck? If you look at just this like headline here, this is from November 20th, 2020, when Trump was still in office. And it says, in October, a week after Facebook's policy change, Google's video sharing site announced a ban on misinformation about COVID vaccinations. All this misinformation, banning of people being able to lie about the COVID vaccine, came out under Donald Trump. Like, that's when the pressures started. And you guys are fucking pretending that this has anything to, like, that this didn't start with Trump. You guys are delusional.
To behave in this way and to undergo medical treatment that they were not necessarily confident about, that's the real reason why people were upset about the COVID vaccine.
Okay. We're just going to ignore all the context.
I think that's really what happened. And if the COVID vaccine wasn't as, pseudo-mandatory culturally, I don't think that you would have really had the same type of pushback.
It makes sense that it was mandatory in some capacity, considering how 1 million people died in 3 years in America alone. So I think it's okay.
If they had come out and said, well, we don't know whether this is going to completely stop it, but we're doing our best, and this is our first attempt at it right now, and there's people discussing it online, whether...
Sure, this part is true.
...it's a controversial topic, etc., I don't think that you even see 10% of the hostility and the paranoia that's happened.
Maybe.
And I think that really the proof is in the pudding.
I do think people should have been more honest about it. I'll agree to that. But again, we're missing half of the equation when we're talking about this.
You can look at, in retrospect, the amount of trust that the government, I think, has lost after COVID. Think about how much people distrust the government because of how COVID was handled.
Yeah, but also because people are fucking stupid too, right? If you're a normal person with any level of like meaningful intelligence, you would look at the excess mortality rate because of COVID during those 3 years, which was 1 million people in America alone. And you go, wow, that was pretty fucked up. You continue your logic and you go like, yeah, the government didn't respond perfectly probably because they were freaking out. They were being overly restrictive because they wanted people to take the vaccine. So they were restricting people's freedom of speech. That's not good. But I understand that there was a panic and that we're all people and those people were running the government and they were trying to figure things out. That's what you would say. You'd be like, yeah. You wouldn't go, oh man, this government's trying to put vaccines in my anus to give me autism. That's what a normal person would say. We need to stop. We need to stop over-validating the delusions of conspiracy theorists who thinks that the vaccines, all of them, they're just using COVID as their point of what they consider reasonability. They think all of them make you magnetic so that you'll fucking stick to cars, and that's why I get hit by a car. Like, these people are unhinged. You know, it's okay to question these things. It's okay to look back and go like, hey, they could have handled this better. But that's how a normal person would look at it. Right now, we're giving validation to people who think that all vaccines are bad and they're fucking unhinged and they think everything gives you some kind of like a disease if you get a vaccine, despite the fact that it's had profoundly positive impacts.
And I think also this is a point Charlie isn't bringing up. The COVID vaccine was developed under Trump to a pretty large degree. I mean, it was. Now, it was announced a couple of days after.
And Trump is the one pushing that the vaccine was bad after his first iteration because of mutations, which doesn't make any sense. Everything mutates. We always have to come up with new vaccines because everything mutates. What is he talking about?
After the elections were over, but at the end of the day, it was still under his presidency. It was developed under him.
What does that have to do with anything that you're talking about, though?
So, yeah, exactly, right. And so I don't know why he's not bringing that up. I feel like that's probably the best example of it.
It's because they're the conspiracy theorists are Trump supporters. That's why he's not. What is he going to bring it up for?
But I think it's really about people not being able to question and push back against it. And even, and this could be a Mandela effect. I don't know if it is, but I remember hearing when the vaccines were being announced that they were not announced intentionally before the election because they might change the results of the election.
Okay. What does that mean?
I don't know necessarily if I'm remembering correctly, but I remember hearing things like that.
So you're telling me that Donald Trump made the vaccine and he didn't announce that he made the vaccine. What are you trying to say? Are you a fucking idiot?
So, yeah, we can trust Trump? Well, vaccines were being announced. I don't know if it is, but I remember hearing when the vaccines were being announced that they were not announced intentionally before the election because they might change the results of the election.
So just to be clear, Asmongold is like a really big Trump guy and a conspiracy theorist at this point, I'm assuming, because what he's trying to say is that under Trump's administration, when they first made the vaccine, Trump didn't announce the vaccine being made, or some random magical announcer man wouldn't let Trump announce the vaccine because if they had, it would have helped Trump's case. What are you trying to say with that? Like, what he just said was so incredibly, prolifically fucking stupid that it makes no sense to anybody that makes sense, unless you're a conspiracy theorist. Because that's what the implication is that somebody tried to take credit away from Trump. Trump wouldn't shut the fuck up about the vaccine. What? I even remember when he got pushed back for taking the vaccine. Like, what are you talking about? What the fuck are you trying to say? It's just brain melting because it's just such a dumb thing to say that it makes no sense to anybody with a fucking brain. But it makes lots of sense to fucking idiots, I guess. Oh my God.
I don't know necessarily if I'm remembering correctly, but
yeah, you're not. What you're saying logically makes no fucking sense at all.
I remember hearing things like that.
What are you talking about?
So, yeah, we can trust Trump?
What the fuck is he talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is that I'm not saying you can trust anybody, but what I am saying is that telling people that they have to trust something is very different.
Osmosis. So now
I'm holy shit. What? I don't even know what's okay, whatever.
We're all immune to COVID.
So that's why it happened.
Trump getting the COVID vaccine booster or some crazy shit, maybe. That one I'm just spitballing, but I'm trying to find ways they'll mental gymnastics around it. But the sad reality is they're not even going to bother trying. They're just going to be like.
And I think also there were a lot of people of the mindset that, like my dad had this mindset that, you know, because he was, you know, he had already gone through, like he got the COVID vaccine. Because he had already gone through pneumonia multiple times, he was missing part of his lung, and he was in his 70s.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing to get the vaccine. We like when the vaccine first came out, like my wife and I were hesitant about it, but she had to get it for work because she works with people, which makes sense. And so I said, "Fuck it, let's get it together." I don't know if you guys know this, we're fine. We did not get autism. I don't know. we did all right. So worked out for us. It's not a big deal.
So I think that there was a lot more people that were willing to get the COVID vaccine that were immunocompromised in one way or another, right?
Okay.
But whenever you compare that to it being compelled on healthy, athletic, 30-year-old adults.
Do you think that that's like the average American is an athletic 30-year-old adult?
Well, then that's a very different conversation, isn't it?
Right. Well, we don't really have a health crisis of being too healthy in America, for one. Number two, like, we live in a society. Joker meme, enter. All right, we've taken vaccines for a very long time. When we know that that's part of the buy-in to society. You have to understand that, like, getting COVID for somebody can kill a vaccinated person. Because, like, vaccines basically, like, for the most part, this is like the general way it works, it like raises your immunity to it, but there's still a certain amount that could hit your body and fuck you up. And so if a healthy person gets COVID and then they're around you, they could still give you COVID if you're somebody that has a vaccine. Like, that's why you can't, like, everybody has to get it. That was the logic. And again, 1 million fucking people died. Why aren't you bringing that up? In 3 years, 1 million fucking people died. Why don't you bring these things up? Okay.
Isn't it? And I think that's another layer to the complexity that, again, makes people more accepting of it.
I love that at no point will he ever acknowledge how many people died to COVID. Because he doesn't think it's relevant to talk about how bad COVID was. In this entire rant, Asmongold has no interest in talking about how bad COVID was. He just wants to kind of dance around the issue and make it seem like it wasn't a huge deal. It was.
I do think that Charlie is to a degree right, that there is a lot of dissonance that happens, and it's like when Trump does it, it's okay. I think, again, the crypto example is better than this example, but I do think it's true, but I'm just explaining a little bit more behind this.
Here and just be like the good little NPC drone that's like, anything Trump does is great. Can't wait to swallow more Trump meat. Even though it goes completely against all of the...
So you disavow RFK with his attacks on a vaccine, right? Well, I don't know everything that RFK has said. I mean, I don't know. I think that vaccine...
Why don't you look into it?
You should be able to criticize vaccines, and people should have every right to be reluctant to take vaccines. They should have every right to be reluctant.
Sure, but sometimes you're going to have to take a vaccine to function in society, so...
I don't have an issue
because I don't really want your unvaccinated kid around my vaccinated kid, because if your kid gets sick, that might kill my kid. So
with vaccines, I have an issue with you having an issue with other people that have an issue with vaccines. Does that make sense?
No, not really. I want you to explain it more often. I want you to use the specific example of a classroom of children where one of them isn't vaccinated against something, and then they get that thing, and then they kill every other kid in that classroom because the vaccine is able to increase your immunities against like lowered intensities of a particular illness, but it can't combat against a higher intensity of a particular illness. So that's why everybody has to get a vaccine. I want you to contest with that. I want you to talk about that. I want that context. I want you to hide away from it and pretend like it doesn't exist.
People should be allowed to come to their own conclusions.
No.
And they should
make up to whatever conclusion you want, but oftentimes this conclusion comes from not actually citing facts. So
make their own decisions for their own life and make their own medical decisions.
Why would it kill anyone who's vaccinated? I already explained how vaccines work. You get a vaccination, increases your immunity to a thing up to a certain point. But if somebody with like a full-blown illness gets it, they can still pass it on to you. This is very basic. I explained it already.
If I had a kid, I'd get my kid vaccinated.
Great.
I probably wouldn't get him the COVID vaccine.
Well, okay. Would you let him around non-vaccinated kids?
But I definitely fucking get him the polio one. What are we talking about?
Would you be fine with them being around other kids or no that don't have the vaccine or what?
Of course.
He was talking about, like, so many people that were talking about the jab and how evil it is and all of that are now celebrating that Trump got it. It's just so obvious. It's so blatant. Like fucking cat turd. I don't think I've seen anything from him on Trump getting the jab here. Just radio silence, just crickets. Yeah. It's just ignore things that make you have to think. That is the cult mentality of MAGA. Anything Trump does is perfect.
True.
Anything that makes me think that maybe there's something else there, I shut out. I plug my ears to. It is fucking horrifying.
I think that this is true, and I think that this is a massive issue, but I don't think that Trump has a monopoly on cult behavior.
Yeah, he does. Trump has a monopoly on cult behavior 1,000%. You will never see anything as cultish as Donald Trump and what he and how he engages with anything. It just doesn't exist at all. It's not even close to the same.
I think that you can look at especially the way that a lot of the Free Palestine people reacted to the peace agreement and the ceasefire with Gaza as the opposite. How is it that you can protest and fight and complain and get mad about this?
Who's getting mad about the ceasefire deal other than like little gremlins on Twitter? What the fuck is he talking about? This isn't real.
For 2 years, but
Holy
you know,
shit.
actions are taken. And again,
We literally have like Trumpers that are saying that they wouldn't care if he shot somebody in the middle of the street. Donald Trump said he could shoot somebody in the middle of the street and his supporters would still support him. This is the person that we're talking about. There is no cult like MAGA versus some online Twitter people. He's so fucking terminally online. This is Donald Trump's own comment.
The people, my people are so smart. And you know what else they say about
So
my
smart.
people? The polls. They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
This is the guy we're talking about. Like, what are you talking about? There's no MAGA. Like, we're talking about people that are walking around in fucking MAGA hats like a bunch of freaks. Cultists that are like praising Donald Trump. There was considerations for him to run for a third term that he didn't even actively dissuade in any capacity. What are we talking about? And you're comparing that to like people on Twitter protesting Trump getting a deal, a ceasefire agreement? What are you talking about? That wasn't like anything meaningful other than people chirping online. What are you talking about? What? He literally staged January 6th so that he could try to overturn the will the will of the election, although you're running defense for that. Passively by coming up with some unhinged conspiracy theory that they wouldn't give Trump credit for the first COVID vaccine, that Trump wouldn't give himself credit. They withheld that information. Very bizarre.
keep in mind, I'm not happy about this. Israelis are happy about this.
You're just making something up.
Israelis are dancing about this.
Okay.
Palestinians are dancing about this. Whoa. They're the ones that are happy. So shouldn't you at least be happy that they're happy? Well, I don't hear any of that. So I think this cult
What the fuck are you talking about?
behavior is, nobody has a monopoly on cult behavior.
That's not even a cult behavior. At worst, that's shitty behavior. What are we talking about? Cult? This isn't cult behavior because some people on Twitter don't want to give Trump credit for a ceasefire agreement. That's not a cult behavior. People like praise Trump like he's a fucking god. What are we talking about?
Behavior. That's my point that I'm making.
Your point's terrible dog shit. And it pretends to be intelligent. Because you speak confidently. I think Asmongold's one of the most dangerous people in the world. Not actually dangerous, but like he's a dangerous mentality. Because he's incredibly stupid and he says things with confidence.
Is now building a Qatari Air Force base in Idaho. Trump has accepted a huge $400 million Wumbo Turbo Superstar jet from Qatar.
He has.
It's a
What's the rationale for that, Asmongold?
crazy gift. That's one hell of a donation.
It's a nice one, huh?
In there.
I guess the argument, I guess we're just going to downplay it. Okay.
I don't want to toss the B word around too lightly here, the bribe nomenclature, but I mean, definitely smells a little fishy over here with that, especially in regards to what came soon after. He then signed a $5.5 billion deal
We're just not going to talk about it? Okay. I guess no commentary on that one.
with Qatar for a Trump golf course. Yippee, that's great for the American.
That's right. That's right. This is what's going to happen. Absolutely.
Why is that a good thing? He's pushing his own interests while he's in office.
Well, we'll
People
go.
want
Like,
Trump wealth
It
that
sounds like he took a bribe to get a... What?
wait for the
accumulates here
base.
through this deal. And now
I don't know about this
he
one.
is putting
Why don't you look into it?
a Qatar Air Force base on
So he gets a really nice deal for his Trump hotel, and then he puts an Air Force base for Qatar in Idaho. You don't see that as a conflict of interest at all? Insider trading bad for congressmen, but like seemingly taking bribes is good? I don't understand why. Okay. He just doesn't care. He just doesn't give a fuck. Okay.
our homeland soil.
So that's not really the entire thing, but I do.
Okay.
I
Didn't you just say you didn't know anything about it?
can see why Charlie would be confused by this because their messaging, like Pete Hegseth's messaging about this, and also JD Vance's messaging about this, was contradictory and it was confusing to people. And they should have done a better job with this, to be fair. But what happened really is that there was a deal that Trump finalized, or not Trump finalized, but Trump approved in 2017. And this deal was it was like the workings of this deal were beginning in 2016 with the Obama administration. This is where we were selling, I think it was 36 F-15 jets to Qatar for like $12 billion, something like this. And you can see it's like each one's like $30 million, right? It's a lot of money. Well, with a lot of really expensive things.
Nothing that he's saying is meaningful. Us potentially building airplanes or some kind of like military weaponry for Qatar has nothing to do with Qatar building a facility in fucking Idaho. What are you talking about? The agreement to sell fighter jets to Qatar was 2017. We're not talking about selling fighter jets to a foreign nation. We're talking about a foreign nation being able to build a training facility inside of Idaho after Trump got a deal for them to like invest in his fucking golf courses. What the fuck are you talking about? He's inaccurately and disingenuously portraying this information. Okay.
It's very common that you're also sold a training program for those things. And this deal, and the point that I'm making with the deal is this deal has gone through.
A training program is different from building it in the United States. If you were going to do a training program, why wouldn't you do it not in the United States?
3 separate presidencies. It was initially floated by the Obama presidency.
There was nothing at all in any capacity floated about building a Qatar training facility in the United States of America. He's lying.
It was then, approved by the Trump presidency.
He's lying about everything that he's saying right now.
It was then pretty much continued by the Biden presidency.
No, it wasn't.
And it was finalized again by the Trump presidency.
Where he added that they can have the facility in Idaho. What are you talking about? He's just fucking lying. Great stuff.
So this really isn't a Donald Trump, Donald Trump does not own this issue.
He does own this issue.
It's just simply something that's been going on for a very long period of time.
No, it's not. He's lying.
This is the same thing whenever you sell.
Or he's just like dumb. I don't know. He's lying right now.
All those jets, a lot of people come here and they're trained also to use the jets.
They're not even coming here to train to use the jets. They're getting their own facility. What are you talking about? What? So just to be absolutely clear, the training facilities do not happen on American soil. Oh, maybe they are actually. Maybe he's right about something about this. This is Qatar, so this doesn't have anything to do with this. Maybe he's actually right about this. Maybe I'm fucking melting down over nothing. Okay, so we're getting distracted from what the actual issue is. First and foremost, I mean, this is a lot to go through. Okay. There was aspects of this that were talked about during the Biden administration. It is normal when we sell jets to sell training as well. First of all, the MAGA side of the argument, because there are people like Donald Trump who criticized this deal in 2017, just to be clear, is that it gives Qatar more influence, especially considering, in America in some capacity, especially considering that they have heavy ties to terrorist organizations in the Middle East. That's one of the big ones. But the biggest issue is favoritism, because Qatar invested heavily into the United States assets during Trump's first term, including bailing out Jared Kushner. Family real estate firm in 2018. Kushner is attached to Trump. I'm pretty sure he's like his fucking son-in-law, right? Yeah, it's his son-in-law. So this has like substantially less to do with. Also, apparently, there's recent reports that allege that Qatar paid influencers tied to Trump to promote positive narratives about the country. That's the issue. We're sitting here and I'm getting fucking triggered over Asmongold lying. He's not necessarily lying, but he's not bringing up the context of what the problem is. The problem isn't the deal in and of itself. It's the favoritism. Also, they gave Trump a fucking jet for the military library or whatever, which Trump wants to turn into like the Air Force One fucking plane, which is going to take like billions of dollars to do. That's the issue. That's what the fucking issue is. The issue is the favoritism and all the seemingly fucking bribes that are going on. Not bringing that up is a massive issue, and I think it's intentional.
This is part of the sales package, and they're able to do that. So these people that are Qatari, pilots are going to come to America and be trained here on an American airbase, but they're going to have their own space there in order to be trained. And so that does not mean that Qatar is building an airbase in America. Like the same way that we have bases in other countries, that's not what Qatar is doing. But they're having people trained here in order to use the jets that they bought for $12 billion. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm fine with that too. I don't think it's...
Yeah, that's not the issue though, right? Like the issue is the seemed like the favoritism that Qatari showed us, as well as their vast ties to terrorist organizations. So
it's a big deal. Now, you could say it's a Qatar base. Well, you can look it up for yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a facility, it's not a base. Yeah, you can look it up for yourself. Like I again, you can go back and forth and you can decide this whatever you want, but you just look this up and that's clearly what it is. That changes everything. Maybe y'all should construct an airbase with North Korea.
Not really. It doesn't really change anything.
Korea in the U.S. Well, we'll see what happens, right? And anyway, but this has happened in a lot of cases. Now, and I think that if you want to have a problem and say like, well, Qatar is a funder and a sponsor of terrorism, and because of that, we're not going to do business with them, and we don't think, I don't think we should do business with them at all. That's totally fine for you to think that, but I don't think that's something that you can leverage explicitly at Trump.
Well, he literally said that in 2017, so you actually could leverage that at Trump if you wanted to.
Because again, this deal had gone through approval effectively through 3 different administrations. 3 separate administrations.
So let's just quickly go through the difference between these 2 deals, okay? So for Trump, he basically gave them like somewhat of a near NATO security guarantee that we would defend them from external attack, as if they were in NATO. Biden seemed to have given them a similar guarantee, so that one doesn't seem to be a huge issue. Qatar gave Trump a luxury fucking aircraft to the U.S. government. Wow, that sounds like a bribe. The Trump Organization signed a $5.5 billion deal to develop a luxury golf resort in Qatar. Wow, that sounds like some kind of favoritism. And then Qatar reached an agreement to build a facility at Idaho's Mountain Home Air Force Base. Right, so that's exclusive to Donald Trump. Right? For Biden, like we said, near NATO status. Then existing cooperation, just on particular frameworks, like when it comes to counterterrorism and securing the release of hostages, right? Trying to address the fact that Qatar has been in heavily support of terrorist organizations. And Qatar would be a critical mediator in securing hostage releases from Hamas and promoting ceasefire talks. Trump already did that himself, or I believe he already did that himself, so he doesn't need that. But you notice that the difference between the plans was that Trump got a ton of gifts and decided to give Qatar some kind of potential influence. Although, you know what, maybe Biden would have done that same thing, although I doubt it. Let's just remove that one. We just have to focus on the fact that Qatar gave Donald Trump a fucking jet. And then also, they signed a fucking deal to develop luxury golf resorts in Qatar. Clearly, there is an advocacy. Donald Trump literally used this deal, from what it seems like to me, to gain some kind of like political leverage. If you are somebody, or to gain some kind of financial leverage, if you are somebody who is upset, which you should be, over the single buying and trading of stocks from Congress because they have insider information, so that they can use those the different information and they can actually set policies to financially benefit themselves. Why wouldn't you have an issue with Donald Trump getting a fucking $5.5 billion deal so that he could set up a luxury golf resort in Qatar that would give him money in the long run? This doesn't even make any sense. There is a fundamental difference between the two, and either Asmongold doesn't know about it or he doesn't want to tell you about it because he likes to just guzzle Trump's cum and he never wants to look at anything critical of Donald Trump.
Trump said the exact same thing. Well, yeah, but
Jesus Christ.
That's all I'm saying. The golf course, though, yeah, sure. Sure, you want to complain about that. Will you let you train here if you let us build a golf course? Yeah, I mean, that's totally fine. U.S. is an air base in Iraq. We already do this with Saudi Arabian pilots.
Wait, why did he just go right by the... Oh, yeah, if you want to criticize the golf course. Why wouldn't you criticize the golf course?
Yeah. No, we do it with a lot of other countries, too.
He just moved right past it intentionally, not even explaining the golf course issue.
It's a very common pattern. Like, obviously, whenever we sell people 12...
Dude, he's, like, refusing to talk about the golf course in any meaningful capacity. Somebody said it, he accidentally read it, and then he decided to move on.
$1 billion worth of jets, we want them to understand how to fly the jets.
Fuck.
So they come over here and they learn how to fly the jets. One of the other reasons why is that some of the training tools and training resources are only available in America. Like, obviously, Qatar, the reason why they're buying the jets is because they're not making them, they don't have them. So because they don't have them, they also don't have the training tools in order to train people to use the jets either.
Tell us get killed by.
So that's the reason. It's been
okay, so we're just not going to talk about the golf deal, okay?
Happening for decades? Yes, it has. And you can look this up.
Okay. Gotcha.
About Biden's net worth doubling during his administration? Well, that's what I've said before.
What have you said before?
And I said this at the beginning of the video, is that this is an existential problem for all political parties.
Hold on. This is not true. It's just not true. His net worth didn't double at all. There's no verified claims. His net worth went from $8 million when he took office, and he left at about $10 million, a 25% increase. When you're getting a salary of $400,000 a year, which should equate to $1.6 million. Also, their homes in Delaware, they had multiple homes, they appreciated in value, which also increased it, and some stock investments. And you could say that there's a problem there, but there's a difference between Biden gaining $2 million when a considerable amount of that was from, his salary that he earns, and basically not having like that and like owning property that went up, and also stock market, versus Donald Trump making part of the negotiation to give sell Qatar jets, that he gets to build a literal business in another fucking country and gets a free jet as a gift. What the fuck are you talking about? These are so substantially different. Holy shit, this is so dumb. Oh, wait a minute, dude, he didn't even have any short-term stock trading. So that's not even what it is. It's literally all from his presidential salary and the appreciation of his assets. Dude, he's such a loser. Holy fuck. Asmongold is so willing to lie about everything. He just pushes conspiracy theories on it, like, completely unverified.
Money being involved in politics is pollution.
Holy fuck, dude. Dude, this is the problem. He literally compared Trump getting gifts for free to Joe Biden not getting gifts for free and said, yep, this is a both sides problem. Holy, dude, it's actually like, it is a cult. This is the cult mentality we're talking about. It's a refusal to look into the issues. Like when somebody gives you information, it's a refusal to fact check or verify anything that is being said. That's literally all that happened. Holy fuck. He doesn't care. He just likes Trump. So he's like, yeah, whatever Trump says, I don't care. Holy shit. This is fucking crazy, dude.
But I don't think that any group and any person Nancy Pelosi does not have a monopoly on this. Neither do any of the Republican senators that have made even more money than she has. Neither does Donald Trump. None of them have a monopoly on this. This is a meta-level problem.
Somebody brought up a Biden conspiracy theory, and then you validated it. This has nothing to do with Nancy Pelosi.
Citizens United. Yeah, there's that too. Anyway,
there's that too. Citizens United. What does that have to do with anything? I'm almost like guaranteed. This basically just means that you can engage in like as much spending as you want to, like independent political spending, which is a horrible thing that's happened. But like Democrats are the ones that push against Citizens United. So what the fuck are we talking about here? We're playing both sides.
Wait, let's move on.
Like bullshit. Like we're playing the both sides game.
The Qatar thing is disingenuous. It's a training base on a military base for Qatar. I know that, but that's why I'm explaining it.
Yeah, well, he's not actually explaining it, though. He's intentionally leaving out context on purpose.
America first, right? Yeah, it's really America first thinking right there.
Well,
yeah. And then I've already seen the cope about how, actually, no, this is a joint training procedure.
Yes.
This is something that we do all the time, actually. And I saw JD, My Chemical Romance, Vance talking today about like how it's actually just all fake news and stuff.
Yeah.
Even though they have literally verbatim, point blank said exactly what this deal is. And he is
exactly. And they shouldn't have said it that way. It was a mistake. It was an error in communication. They shouldn't have communicated it that way. It was stupid.
What? Just denying that.
Yes.
So not even the administration is in agreement on their talking points right now. It's a fucking mess.
And I think that's a fair criticism, to be honest. Like them not being aligned on explaining how Qatar is going to be trained, Qatari pilots are going to be trained here in the United States.
You don't think that leads to people going like, oh, they're lying, because that's what they're probably doing.
I think that's definitely a fair criticism, because it's confusing to people and it scares them.
Okay.
Still, people are so brainwashed and mind controlled that they'll just accept it and be like, this is great. This is America first, actually, to put this Qatar Air Force base in Idaho. That's actually exactly what I wanted. And
if you also want my opinion, I think, like on a meta-level opinion, I think that more interplay in terms of economics with Middle Eastern countries will be a good thing, in the same way that I think that it's been a good thing between America and China, because it lowers the probability of any sort of problematic behavior, because nobody wants to fuck with their money.
Sure, that could be a reasonable argument if you actually would have talked about the fact that Donald Trump was able to basically secure bribes. Like, that would have been much better. If you talked about that, we would be in a good spot right now, but you don't seem to be willing to talk about that.
So, like, even if you take the Qatar thing out of this, I agree with the fundamental idea of it, because I think that peace through trade is a legitimate strategy.
That's fine. That's, like, legitimately fine. But again, it seems to come with the price tag of Asmongold denying the favoritism that's going on here.
Because nobody wants to lose money. What do you know about economics? Nothing. I'm just making it all up. Yeah, I'm just making it up. Case, yeah. That's right. That's what I think is going to happen. Yeah.
The fuck do I get through here, dude? The fuck?
Yeah, that's the reason.
There we go.
Always finds a way to surprise me with some crazy schizo posting late at night. So his most recent one is the Biden FBI placed 274 agents into the crowd on January 6th. If this is so...
Let's see what we got here from Asmongold.
So, which it is. A lot of very good people will be owed big apologies. What a scam! Do something! President DJT. There is so much wrong with that.
Sorry, is he not going to say anything about that?
Which it is. DJT. There is so much wrong with that. I think he forgot to take his suppositories, because holy shit, Trump was president on January 6th. Biden did not control the FBI. But you know what? Let's play ball here and dive into a fucking fever dream, a fantasy. Let's say...
I mean, people really shouldn't be saying that. It is true that he controlled the FBI, but it's just not true that there were 274 people that were put into... that were like sleeper agents on January 6th. With the intent, what they're trying to say there is that they actually caused the problem. It's not true. Even Kash Patel said that those 276 FBI agents... and he fucked up by saying this for his narrative, were a response to the riots. This creator on TikTok is like great, right? I said, I think so. You know, I would give him a look at. But this is where I was like, oh shit, like he makes a great point here.
Patel, Trump's current FBI director, says 274 FBI agents were thrown into crowd control on January 6th. And Kash Patel tweets this news article, which has a statement from Kash Patel that says agents were sent into a crowd control mission after the riot was declared by Metro Police.
Yeah, so Kash Patel is lying in his tweet of the representation of what he actually said was that it was a counter response. So I really want to see what Asmongold has to say about this.
Joseph Biden set down his ice cream, cracked his knuckles, and assumed direct control of the FBI on January 6th and placed all of these agents in here just as Trump says. Well, why don't you do something about it? You are the president. Who are you asking to do something? God? Batman? Like, who are you trying to call? Who are you trying to summon to do
I think that this is... So part of this I agree with, part of it I don't agree with.
I'm assuming you have no idea what you're going to say, what you're talking about, but let's hear it.
I agree with the sentiment here is that Trump complains about things too much, and I think this is something that the administration does in general. Instead of complaining, you should be acting. Like, instead of complaining about the, governor or the mayor not, like approving, like trying to like actively subvert ICE or stop ICE, why don't you pull them up on the Insurrection Act and arrest them?
Because he can't. Because he knows that he's overstepping his bounds as president of the United States in a government of checks and balances. Are you seriously just going to move on from this conversation?
Do that. That's what I want to see. Charge them for sedition.
Well, they obviously can't.
Because I agree with Charlie, but I think in the opposite direction. No. Yeah, they're not doing enough. Like, if it was up to me, these people would be in fucking jail. And so it's about optics. Yeah, exactly. And Trump won't. Then because the Civil War. Oh, they're not going to have a Civil War. It's going to be over in It'd be over in minutes. Don't even tell them it's going to happen. Do it in one day. And so...
if he could, he would. He's already violated people's due process, so clearly the reason Trump can't fight back... But this has nothing to do... We're even getting distracted. We're literally getting Trump-level distracted by this. The claim is 274 agents were in the crowd agitating January 6th. Kash Patel's own words was that it was a counter-response to the riots on January 6th, to the insurrection, the attempted insurrection. So what you're saying has nothing to do with anything. Talk about what he's saying specifically, or are you a fucking coward?
Trump pardoned them? Well, Trump pardoned some of the January 6 people, and that's complex.
No, it's not.
But anyway,
this bullshit narrative is supposed to support that it's complex. Like, oh, see, the FBI did it. No, they didn't.
I think that so I do agree with that part. I think that it's very obvious also that whenever you have the government that's like this massive machine,
he's just going to pretend like he doesn't know anything about what he's saying. He just wants to sound right, and he's just going to lie for Trump.
I think this massive machine probably endures and has its own internal politics that sometimes does not align with what the politics of the current administration is. And I think that like probably the most...
Yeah, so he's saying that the FBI did it because they hated Donald Trump. That's literally it. He's not going to look into it. He's just going to say things. Okay.
Obvious example of this is the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is basically... like Biden didn't really get the chance to appoint a lot of justices, whereas Trump in his first term did. Trump stacked the court, and because of the fact that Trump stacked the court, that is one apparatus of the government that is effectively politicized in a way that's beneficial to him.
Sure, and part of the reason that they're able to do that is because they took away Obama's choice. Yeah, okay.
And I think that the same thing is probably also true inside of the CIA. I think
you're saying that he stacked the FBI?
I think that it's true inside of the FBI. I think it's true inside of every apparatus of government, is that there is going to be its own internal politics. And for me...
Right, but none of this is true because the conspiracy theory was debunked by Kash Patel. So what you're saying is you're just rambling on to sound smart, but you're wrong. So
you need to imagine that the FBI or something like that was like completely in lockstep with the president all the time. I mean, just a very cursory look at the JFK files would prove that to not be true. So I think that in general, the deep state is a legitimate problem, but I don't think that Trump has done even remotely enough to undo the deep state effects.
Everything that you're saying is irrelevant because we know it's a conspiracy theory. But okay. Great explanation.
You think there were a large number of federal agents January 6th and incited the crowd with the purpose of making Trump look bad while Trump was the president? Come on, man. Well, I don't know whether there were or not.
I do, because Kash Patel said that there weren't. So.
When did I ever say that? I didn't say that. I don't know all the details. I don't know all the evidence. Why?
You see how Asmongold doesn't seem to know all the details when it's convenient for him. He could look the details up, but he doesn't seem to be interested in it. He does the same thing, and I think it's intentional because, again, he did the same thing when glossing over Qatar, giving Donald Trump like a massive like $5.5 billion deal to build shit in Qatar, like a fucking country club or whatever. Like you see how it seems to be pretty intentional stuff, man. It's very interesting. Okay.
Why would I make a distinction on that whenever I don't know? That's a very specific thing. So yeah, of course.
That's the claim that Trump's making, and you are co-opting that claim in the way that you talk and going, well, I don't really know. Yeah, I think that the FBI is really poised against Donald Trump. It's some pretty crazy stuff, yada, 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 yada. Oh, come on, man. They actually did this. Oh, I don't really know about that. You just spent your entire time validating a conspiracy theory, but you don't know? Like, what are you saying?
Something. You are the president. So if this is real, why aren't you doing anything? This is a classic President DJT maneuver here. The entire administration, really, with all these crimes from the Democrats.
And I would easily, could I imagine that they had people come in there? Do I think that the FBI has placed agents in areas in order to foment unrest and cause problems? Yes, I think that they have done that.
In January 6th, despite the fact that Kash Patel said that didn't happen?
And the reason why I think they've done that is because I think it serves their goals.
Okay, so he's just going to ignore reality and just push a conspiracy theory after saying he literally just said he doesn't really know about that. And now he's like, no, actually, I think it is true. He got pushback from his own audience. Just to be clear of what just happened, his audience just told him that on January 6th, FBI agents were placed in there to create unrest and actually exacerbate tensions, which is a narrative that justifies January 6th, despite the fact that it's unjustifiable. He said he doesn't really know about that. Not even a minute later, he changes his mind and says, yeah, actually, I do think that that's real. He just got audience captured so hard. That's literally what just happened. Despite the fact that Kash Patel said it didn't happen. What are you talking about?
Because it creates a need for themselves. It's the same reason on a fundamental level why websites keep redesigning themselves every 6 months to a year.
What the fuck are you talking about? You're saying that the FBI needs to stay relevant by causing outbreaks of violence and insurrection that Donald Trump tried to take advantage of? What the fuck are you talking about?
It's because the design team doesn't want to get fired.
What?
So I think that a lot of
people... Dude, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
People try to create a need for themselves inside of their job.
Okay. Dude, he's a lunatic. He's completely unhinged. Okay.
And I don't think the FBI is beyond that.
Okay.
Why do stupid chatters keep putting words in your mouth? It's so fucking annoying. The reason why is...
Nobody put words in his mouth. He literally just... He said the words. He got pressured by his own audience, and then he said the words.
Because they're programmed by media, and they're programmed by media, other types of controlled...
Asmongold spends his entire life online reading Twitter. This is his entire day. He has no meaningful relationships. He has no friends. He has nothing outside of sitting on Twitter and being terminally online. So when you say these things and you make it seem like as everybody else, it's very strange because you are the one that's mind control brainwashed. You're talking about yourself.
Propaganda to behave like guys? Robots.
Oh.
It's like a Pavlov conditioning where it's like as soon as one person says one thing, then that means that they're saying 5 other things.
Absolutely abhorrent,
that's
vile
the reason
crimes that the Democrats have done. No more playing nice. No more Mr. Nice Guy. We're showing our teeth. We're baring our fangs, and we're going to get something done about it.
And they didn't.
And then nothing.
Exactly.
It's all just posturing. It's all...
I totally agree with this. I totally agree. I think that he should go absolutely Old Testament scorched earth on them.
What?
And the fact that these people aren't in jail, the fact that they're not being charged for treason.
Treason for what? Because Donald Trump's trying to overstep his bounds? What the fuck are you talking about, treason?
Addition, other types of insane fucking crimes. It makes me so fucking mad.
He's pretending to be angry. He's doing forced outrage. Guys, the president wants to do a thing, but our system of due process prevents it. I'm so fucking mad right now. It's fucking unhinged shit. It's fucking
performative.
It's fucking unhinged, dude. Holy shit. This is fucking making me so goddamn angry. I'm shitting myself right now. I'm fucking so pissed off. Oh,
it is a game, and they are playing you. They're preying upon your gullibility and your inclination to be afraid, to constantly keep you.
That's exactly what Asmongold's doing. Isn't that so funny?
Fear, because when you are afraid and when you are convinced that the other side is doing all of these things to get you, you are so fucking easy to control. You're so malleable.
That's exactly what Asmongold's doing to his audience. This is so funny to watch him be performatively outraged.
I think this is something that's not, again, you know, how many times have we heard that Trump is a fascist, threat to democracy, he stole the election.
I mean, what? Stole the election? I've never heard anybody say that Trump stole the election. We hear people saying that he tried to steal the election. I've seen you agree that January 6th was an insurrection. What?
Russia interference. I think
there was Russian interference as a fact. What are we talking about? What?
This is the modus operandi to almost all mainstream media. And
there was literally massive disinformation campaigns created by Russia for the 2016 elections. It's the fact. What are you talking about?
Also, almost all media in general. That's why people use clickbait. That's why people talk about extreme issues.
That's what you do all the time.
It's because it's something that is...
I mean, we've pretty much figured it out at this point. Like, effectively what it is that Asmongold likes to do all the things and then say that they're bad and try to sound intelligent about it. Yeah, it's actually brainwashing. And it's fear tactics. By the way, I'm going to go on an unhinged rant and I'm going to fucking try to brainwash you with fear tactics.
It's enticing to people.
Yeah,
people want to be
so true, King. So true.
The best thing that can happen for a media company is a tragedy, because a tragedy allows everybody to talk about the issue, and now people are tuning.
What? I mean, they'll definitely capitalize on it. It's part of the 24/7 news cycle that really got popularized in 9/11. What's your point?
Into the news because everybody wants to know what's going to happen next. So I think that really the people that truly benefit off of any sort of tragedy or any sort of civil unrest or anything like that are the media in general. I benefit from that. Like when something
what does this have to do with anything that you're saying?
Really bad happens, my channel viewership goes up and I make more money. That's the case with Hassan, with Charlie. If something bad happens, like a big crypto scam happens and Charlie covers it, or, you know, a video.
What the fuck does this have to do with anything that we're talking about? It's like a complete side tangent.
Video game fails in a spectacular way, like Concord fails. Charlie covers it. He makes money. So there is a parasitic relationship.
Who cares? As long as somebody's not being dishonest about it. But you are being dishonest about it. So that's the problem.
That media has on events like this. And I think that mainstream media, that parasitic relationship has been escalated to the point to where they actually try to propagate and continue these negative events and these problematic things and this fearful thinking because it's beneficial for them. I think Fox does this. I think MSNBC does it. I think CNN does it. I think that they're all guilty.
Okay.
And even smaller places like the Young Turks or like InfoWars do it.
Gotcha.
It's true.
Okay. It's not really relevant to what we're talking about, but okay.
Trump started it, bro. Come on. You think Trump started the idea of media hysteria?
No, but he certainly capitalized on it. He's better at it than anybody else. Obviously, you fall for it, so.
I don't think that's true.
Wow, that person was obviously trolling your chat, so now you're going to pretend that he wasn't?
They're playing that shit in the airport.
Here's a great example of what I'm talking about.
We don't need it, but okay.
Do you remember the Ocean Gate thing? Whenever those guys went down to see the Titanic?
Sure.
After it was obviously revealed that everybody died and the death was so instantaneous they didn't even know what happened.
Okay.
It was revealed later on that remember like the countdown for like when they're going to run out of oxygen and everything like that? A lot of these news stations were running this countdown and doing all of this, knowing full well that 99% chance it had already imploded and the people had been dead for hours, if not days at that point.
What does it have to do with anything that we're talking about? Like, we get it. There's sensationalized media. It has nothing to do with what's going on. You're just going on an unhinged rant, trying to justify Donald Trump taking fucking bribes from Qatar. What the fuck is happening here?
So how is it that that happened? Was that Trump? No, it had nothing to do with Trump. It had nothing to do with politics.
Okay, what is the point he's trying to make? Like, this point it's not really relevant to what's happening.
I think that's a great example of what I'm talking about in the least politically motivated situation I can think of. Trump does not own the idea of escalating emotional media. This has been a problem before Trump. It's been a problem after Trump. It will be a problem after Trump. That's it. They're milking it for content. Yes. Why would Israel do this? Exactly.
Now about how like the Democrats are Satan and all of that.
Yes.
If you have all of this overwhelming evidence that you claim to have about all of these crimes and all of this shit that the Democrats have done, why have you done nothing?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because he can't do anything. That's why.
Yes.
He's not. This is the problem. Holy fuck. He's so dumb.
True.
There's nothing true. He's disagreeing with you. Charlie's point is that these conspiracy theories are not real. And he's saying this to hype up his audience and piss them off because he wants to rage bait people and create fear tactics. You think like, oh, Trump can do so much. He can't. He knows he can't, or else he would have. That's the point. You're an idiot. You're just fucking dumb. Holy fuck. Jesus Christ.
Would be just as guilty in that case.
Yes.
What is the quote? The only thing it takes for evil to succeed is for good men to do nothing. Well, if you know that all of this evil is happening from the Democrats and you're doing nothing, you're just as guilty. Like this.
Absolutely. Completely fucking agree with this. Yes.
Is so clearly obvious to anyone that's thinking for more than 5 fucking seconds. And you don't even need to be thinking for 5 seconds to see this new Truth Social stinker here that he squeaked out as anything other than just a sham. Like, this should just be alarming into the mental decline of Trump. He was president on January 6th. He controlled the FBI. Not Biden. Biden was probably out riding his bike to a fucking twisty treat. I don't think he was down there as the puppet master pulling the strings, putting FBI agents in January 6th. It is so crazy, and yet people will just swallow it. They will swallow any shit that Trump feeds them happily. Even when they know...
That's what Asmongold's doing right now. Okay.
Oh, it's something bad. Like Ted Cruz saying that he got into Congress 13 years ago solely to represent the interests of Israel.
Yeah, I knew it.
He is an American politician who openly states that he is here for Israel.
I really agree with this point, too. I definitely do. This is a huge, huge problem. I really don't like the fact, I find it to be very weird that, at least in my perspective, if somebody had said this about a number of other countries, I think that very easily everybody would agree that this person is a traitor. But for whatever reason, Israel is seen as this great moral good because of the Bible. I think it's because of religion. That's the reason why. And
and that's what Donald Trump's entire party is founded on. Okay, cool.
People are also, the reason why Israel is seen as a great moral good, there's two big reasons. Number one is religion, and number two is people don't want to be seen as anti-Semitic because there's perceived a original sin of Europeans because of Hitler. I think that's what's happened. And the Holocaust, which was horrible. So I think that's really the reason why people are afraid of criticizing Israel, is that you have a lot of people that are criticizing Jews, and they do it under the guise of criticizing Israel. Like,
yeah, of course he skips over the FBI shit.
Like, I just hate Zionism. Well, who's Zionism? Everybody who's a Jew. But I also think at the opposite spectrum, and this is the point that he's bringing up, and I think this is what's much more common from like mainstream news apparatuses, is that whenever you have people that are talking about, Israel and criticizing Israel, they're accused of being anti-Semitic. Like they hate all Jews because they don't like what Israel is doing. And I think that this intentional obfuscation and misrepresentation from both sides is really just two sides of the same coin. And that coin...
He's just ranting, and it's like impossible. He's just fucking ranting. He's completely just fucking ranting. It's exhausting listening to him intentionally ramble off the actual point that's being made. That is that Donald Trump is lying about the FBI riling up January 6th as a distraction and a pushing of a conspiracy theory for attention. That's all it is. And he's just rambling to sound smart right now.
And I think that this intentional obfuscation and misrepresentation from both sides is really just two sides of the same coin. And that coin is not American currency. That's the fact. That is not American currency. The truth is that we should not be dealing with this at all. Israel is a foreign nation. It's a foreign country. And the amount of influence that they have over American politics should be... it's degrading, honestly, more than anything. It's degrading.
That, again, like I said, feels treasonous to me. And
I agree with him. Yes, okay. I think that's true.
Imagine most people in a different time.
So Ilhan Ilmar can say she's working for Somalia first, and Charlie says nothing. But if it's said for Israel and Ted Cruz, it becomes a problem. Explain the difference. So I think that's the reason why probably Charlie's getting a lot of negative feedback from this video.
What are you talking about?
And
what do you? Who the fuck? What? Why would he talk about Ilhan Omar? Like she's just fucking irrelevant. Donald Trump's the president of the United States. I'm not. We're both siding here, guys. Why doesn't he talk about this specifically? What the fuck? See, this is probably why he's getting so much criticism. No, it's not. Nobody gives a fuck about her. That's why. That's the whole fucking reason why. Nobody gives a shit about her. She's fucking irrelevant. Nobody cares. This comparison, you think he even knows about it or cares about it? No.
Obviously, I'm sure a lot of people agree with it, and I think that a lot of the points he's bringing up are valid. I'm not saying that he's wrong.
Well, you're missing like all of them and not realizing they apply to you.
But I think that this is the same issue that, for example, South Park had, is that because South Park didn't do any politics for 4 years, and Charlie very rarely makes comments and forays.
What are you talking about? They did politics for 4 years because they didn't make they didn't dedicate an episode to criticizing Biden. Okay, that's the issue. Well, here's the thing. Have you ever considered that Trump is a uniquely shit fuck president?
To politics, but whenever he does, obviously, people will take note of it. And because, basically South Park didn't spend 4 years making fun of Joe Biden.
Yeah, because Donald Trump is a unique threat to democracy.
Then whenever they decide to come back just to make fun of Trump, it seems like this is partisan and opportunistic. And whenever...
Or maybe they just don't like Trump because he's a unique piece of dog shit. You ever think about that? Is that like a potential there or what?
People see somebody who they want to be a objective source for information, or they want to understand as being
like why just because they don't like Trump doesn't mean that they're not an objective source of information. Like you've decided that Donald Trump is somehow the same as everyone else because you're mentally weak. So that's going to be your issue there.
Biased, or at least having a generally like an even-handed perspective.
Being unbiased doesn't mean both siding everything like a coward fuck. Like does he not? I mean, obviously he doesn't understand that.
Of things, and then this person's really only criticizing groups that are doing it that they disagree with necessarily. It comes off the wrong way because I completely agree. Ilhan Omar saying that she's working in the best interests of Somalia, I think that's a great reason to never elect her. I think that if you run...
Fine, that's fine. Nobody cares about that. This has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Like she's not anywhere even like close to as fucking influential or as Donald Trump. I doubt that Charlie even knows about it because it's so fucking irrelevant. That's the difference.
Run for office in America, you should have to renounce citizenship to every other country in the world.
Renounce? Okay, I don't care. Sure.
If you have Israeli citizenship, you should not be able to hold office here in America, even for being on city fucking council.
Why? That seems silly to me. You can't have dual citizenship? Okay, sure. I don't care. This is fucking dumb as shit.
Okay? This is
Why?
a ridiculous thing that we're even thinking about.
Oh, because the argument's going to be that you might be advocating for another country over your own, I guess.
Advocating for the best interests of Somalia. What the fuck are we talking about? I don't view there is... I mean, to be honest, Israel, I think, is much more of an existential problem because they're much more powerful than Somalia is, obviously, right? They're more influential, they have more money,
right,
they have more military, etc. So it would make sense that Israel would be seen as more of an issue. But you're right. Whenever Charlie doesn't make a video and talk about that, and he's only focusing on Ted Cruz and his adherence to Israel, I think that it does come off as one-sided. That's definitely true. Somalia is irrelevant in U.S. politics? Well, if it's so irrelevant in U.S. politics, then why are politicians in the United States trying to say that they're advocating for its best interests? Like, and I agree with you, but I think that the fact that I agree with you, like, I mean, both of these things are true at the same time.
Period would feel the same, but because of how tribalistic politics has become, if you're a big MAGA enthusiast, Trump supporter, you have to somehow just hand wave that and support it because that's what you're told you need to do.
I don't think that, I think this specific example isn't really accurate. If you look at a lot of people's criticism, I think that one of the main points of contention with a lot of right-wing people is the unwavering support of Israel. And also, if anybody had elected Trump, if you had voted...
Well, the right way... Well, I mean, I guess both sides are generally have, like, unwavering support. Sure. I mean, Trump has been pushing, like, unwavering support of Israel for a while, though. Up until even recently. Like, Netanyahu said he was, like, the greatest thing ever for Israel.
Voted for Trump thinking that he wasn't going to help Israel and work in Israel's best interest. You played yourself. For every one clip that you can find of Trump criticizing Israel over the last 40 years, you can find 100 clips of Trump praising Israel over the last 40 years. The fact is that Trump has always been pro-Israel. Kamala Harris was pro-Israel.
Sure, I think Trump was probably a little bit more pro-Israel, but it seems like we got a ceasefire, so hopefully it sticks is all I'll say.
Joe Biden was pro-Israel.
Sure.
Unfortunately, for the American public right now, this is not an issue that we can vote on. And I know I hate to say that, and I think that's unfair, but that's the reality. Trump was supporting Israel right from the beginning, and he always has. Anybody who thought that this wasn't what was going to happen was lying to themselves.
Even though anyone should be able to hear that and be concerned. Why does Israel have such a huge stranglehold on the American political landscape in such a
I like that Asmongold brought it down to like I love that Asmongold brought it down to two things when he was like, well, what, is that people don't want to be seen as anti-Semitic, so they support Israel, and then also religion. Religion is a big part of it, sure, but like the biggest reason is because that Israel gives us a Western hub inside of the Middle East, which we want more control over and we want more influence over. That's the biggest reason why more than anything else. I feel like you should have been able to bring that one up. Maybe he will in a second.
Massive say-so in how American companies do their business, and why do they even have like the ability to start making demands about what needs to be censored in regards to their atrocities.
100%. I completely agree, and I think most people, this is the thing, is that I think a lot of right-wing MAGA people do agree with that. And I think it's one of the biggest points of contention between...
Because they don't like Jewish people. That's the biggest reason why they agree with that, but sure, okay.
Between them and Trump.
On American platforms. It would be alarming.
But I think also, like, it's important to keep in mind that AIPAC, that's the, one of the Israeli political action committees. Okay. They help, they're involved with everybody. It's not like they're only pro-Republican. Like, they're all also giving money to Democrats, too. These are...
Sure. I mean, it seems to be right-wing influencers that are, like, guzzling the fucking... just to be clear, it's more right-wingers, right? Like, a ton of right-wingers just took, like, public deals to run disinformation campaigns for Israel. they were like all conservatives. So it's probably, you know, when it comes to politicians specifically, it seems to be like people on both sides get it. But when it comes to like the younger, like the actual influencer economy on it, it is very skewed conservative. So
both sides are playing for the same team.
If the political sphere wasn't just, I have to support everything from this side no matter what.
Yeah.
It is fucking scary. Now, I do want to make a mention of something. It's not all horrible, awful news. There's actually a ceasefire going on right now.
Which is good.
And I can only pray that it sticks. With Netanyahu, you never really fucking know. But I can only keep my fingers
crossed. You also never know. I mean, they are terrorists. I mean, he's totally right.
And pray for the absolute best for the Palestinians.
Sure,
and hope.
Of course.
I mean, we got a ceasefire from Russia, and how many of those did they violate? 25 over the past 10 years. So yeah, hopefully it sticks. But
that going forward, the people of Gaza will no longer need to fear being massacred by Netanyahu's IDF.
I've seen some things that are saying that like Hamas is killing people. I don't know how much of that is a disinformation campaign. Yeah, it seems like, so this is from CNN, so I'll take it rather than some random fucking shit posting on Twitter. But mass Hamas fighters seen executing men in Gaza City as the group fights with rival powers. So I guess there's some kind of like power struggle right now going on. I don't know. I guess they're seen as weak because they're conceding. I have no fucking idea.
Now, I know I said at the beginning of the video...
It already hasn't stuck? Really? Is it already violated? Seems like the ceasefire is still going on as of recording the video, so...
The focus of this was going to be on the crypto collapse and the super lucky guy that happened to make $190 million going against all rational thinking and against all the odds. Truly a miracle.
And I think that's give Trump some credit. Well, Trump did play a very big role in it. I think Trump did something that was very smart, is that he engaged nearly every single Middle Eastern country involved in order to all give them collective ownership and collective failure if it doesn't go well.
How did he do that? I've never heard anything about that. How did he do that?
And I think that was probably the smartest thing that he did.
How did he do that?
With this entire event, is engage so many of them at the same time.
What the fuck are you talking about? What is he talking about? What?
But yeah, and I do think that and this is another...
What? You know, it's interesting because I'm reading into... I have no idea what he's talking about. But as I'm reading into this, something that really pissed off Donald Trump was that Netanyahu ordered a missile strike on Qatar, and we just did a deal with Qatar. So I'm assuming that one of the issues here that's leading to a ceasefire, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just funny, is that... and we know that Qatar hosts, a lot of pro-terrorist support, but is because now we have interest with Qatar, so maybe that's why these things are going down. I don't really know what he's referring to. I wish he would give some kind of a reference or a source or something. He could be telling the truth, but he rarely does, or he gives half truths. So
other thing, right, is that whenever you engage in political topics like this, it is going to seem very problematic to people when you're talking about how bad Israel is, whenever there's also Hamas as well. Hamas is advocating for Palestinians, but they're also killing Palestinians. They kill people that protest against them.
Sure.
And so, like, whenever you see that and there's no discussion and no conversation about Hamas being problematic, Palestine is being oppressed by two groups of people, by Israelis and also by Hamas. And it shouldn't, neither one of them should be there.
Sure, I agree. I don't really feel like going into the specifics of it. Obviously, a radical organization is going to come out of being treated a certain way, but I really don't feel like talking about the specifics of Israel-Palestine right now. So,
myself, this is just so preposterous. But now let's finally dive into the crypto collapse. CoffeeZilla made a video going over this. It's extremely well put together, so I'm going to be showing you some clips of that as we talk about it.
I don't even know what this is. I think this is all legal, kind of. I don't think it should be, as you'll see.
Yeah, they should change the rules.
Thing is, even if...
What rules are we talking about? Somebody seemed to have back-end information.
If it wasn't legal,
it's wrong.
It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, it's
there
still
will be
bad.
No justice pursued regardless, because
I think it's a good point, yeah.
Pretty clear that
Great.
whoever this is, they are part of Trump's inner circle of cronies, and they had this knowledge beforehand what was coming.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take a genius to recognize that imposing these huge tariffs on China was going to have a huge effect on the market. So it was a pretty easy opportunity for them to short with that knowledge in mind and make an unbelievable amount of money. Again, if it is legal, it shouldn't be, like CoffeeZilla says.
Yes.
But even if it isn't legal, it won't matter because they're not going to do anything about it.
But the question...
Yeah, and that's the issue. If Asmongold's theory from earlier was that it wasn't actually Trump, but it was somebody from inside his administration, if that's the case, you should still be outraged because Trump should be able to punish that person and get rid of them. It's probably something Trump is okay with. So the
question is, what did this guy know? Okay, how did somebody make $190 million while everyone else was losing their shirts yesterday? If you don't know, there was one of the biggest crashes.
There's a guy that killed himself over this, in fact.
True.
Over the crash. It was that bad. There are people calling for this exact drop, and example, Ben Cowan, it's a bullshit argument. I think that, I mean, like, really, do you really think that nobody... Do you really think that, like, they're not doing like weird insider trading things? Because I think that they are. I don't think this is a Trump exclusive thing, but
oh my god. Fuck, dude. He just rolls off of his tongue to just justify everything Trump does. We're talking about an isolated event that I don't think we've ever seen a politician in our like modern time do, which is like engage in like stock market manipulation through the announcing of tariffs, and then people around him constantly financially benefiting. This is just a consistent pattern of behavior, over and over and over and over again. And Trump, and then Asmongold's like, yeah, but like it happens. Yeah, everybody does it. Sure, to a degree. There's probably a difference between the Congress, making policies that will have an impact and then doing short-term day trading, which is bad and it should be banned, versus what Donald Trump is doing, which is like engaging in tariff manipulation to manipulate the stock market, which he's done consistently. So like we're sitting here and you're like both siding something when one side is clearly exponentially worse because you're a fucking coward. Like it's so stupid.
I think it is happening. Absolutely, okay. I think it's happening.
Ever seen in crypto, and someone came in 24 hours before and started placing.
Like it's not even about if other people do it too. There's an intensity from Donald Trump and the way that he's engaging with things that is far exceeds anybody else. And people like Asmongold just be like, well, it's happening on both sides, like failing to acknowledge that it's like 10 times worse every time Trump does it.
Shorts against the market.
Yeah, you don't have to defend this. Like, this is obviously bad. I mean, there's no...
Yeah, but you don't care. Yeah, it's obviously bad, but he's gonna fart his fucking pants. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't actually care. He just says it's bad and doesn't care.
There's no reason you have to... Like, this is the issue.
Yeah, there is a reason that they have to defend it, because they want Donald Trump to be great and whitewash him. You're totally willing to overlook legitimate fucking in-your-face corruption. That's the difference between you and your other people. They're coping hard as fuck because they don't want to believe Donald Trump is a bad person, but you don't care if he's a bad person. That's the difference between you and other people. You look at the clear examples of horrible behavior that Trump engages in and goes, I don't care. I don't really give a fuck that he engages in this. Everybody does it, I guess. But it's just not even true. It's not even true, and it's like fucking in the way that we're talking about this.
That I'm saying is like you don't have to defend bad stuff. Like, this is obviously a bad decision that they made. This is a Trump exclusive video? Yeah, but this isn't a Trump exclusive react.
What? This is a Trump exclusive issue, though, specifically how intense it is.
Like, I'm watching this, I'm talking about it. You can disagree with the video, but don't disagree with me. I feel like I'm looking at this pretty fairly.
Not at all. You are doing a dog shit job at that. You are not doing that. You're looking at this video as a way that you think comes off as fair, while you intentionally ignore some pretty key issues. That's what the video is. Pretty much what all your content is, and I think you'll be remembered like that.
Just when you bet that the underlying asset is going to go down in price and you will make money on that. Now, this all started October 9th at 16:39 GMT time. They start accumulating this Bitcoin short.
So T-minus 24 hours until the rest of the world knows this information about the impending tariffs.
Yes.
They come in with $80 million that they start shorting Bitcoin with.
Somebody brings up another good point, is that it could also be somebody with knowledge of this on the Chinese side.
What? Why would China know about the announcement of the tariffs?
I've actually never even considered that.
Because it sounds incredibly fucking stupid. I don't even think that this is like a rational or logical choice. I don't even think that would make any sense to anybody. You're telling us that Donald Trump, I don't, okay, sure, fine.
But I think that's a really great point of view.
It's not a great point of view. It's a scapegoat.
Is that people involved in China might have known this too.
Yeah, you know, you're 100% right, dude, obviously.
It's more likely. I don't know if it's more likely or not, but it's...
No, it doesn't matter if it's even likely at all. It just needs to be said so that he can cast doubt and run a defense for Trump. That's literally it. That's the whole point of what he's saying.
Possible.
Not like a gamble or anything. That feels like they knew for sure something was going to happen. That is a crazy amount to come out of nowhere with to short Bitcoin.
Now, the amount is unusual.
China, I think that the reason why is because I think there's a lot more conversations and interplay between them than what the media lets on and what they let on. I bet they're talking and arguing about this stuff constantly, and we just don't hear about it.
You bet? You think so? Okay.
Like that Zelensky fight that happened in the White House, I bet that happens every day.
That itself.
I doubt that happens every day. Donald Trump is very much, like, very aggressively wants people to agree with him, or else he'll fucking, like, boot you from his inner circle.
Is not the unusual part. Then we have Ethereum starts to get shorted at 349 GMT. Interesting. $30 million gets deposited into his account. Immediately start placing major bets that the market is going to go down. Why is this significant? Well, because at 1457, this is only a few hours later, like 12 hours later, Trump posts on Truth Social that they are calculating a massive increase on Chinese tariffs.
Zoinks. That's really lucky. This account comes out of nowhere, swinging huge numbers, swinging big time fucking doubloons here on these shorts, and then
love how he says it. How convenient.
This account comes out of nowhere, swinging huge numbers, swinging big
but again, it was probably another country, and it was probably China anyway, right?
Time fucking doubloons here on these.
Donald Trump has never shown a pattern of people in his inner circle making a bunch of money off of his tariff decisions of destabilizing the economy. Yeah.
Shorts, and then shortly after, well, it looks like something might be happening to the market here with these potential tariffs that they're calculating.
Where
I wonder how bad this has to get for there to actually be partisan support for trying to remove. Like, I really do think that money and politics is
He's just an idiot. He doesn't even understand what's happening. What ended up happening is that somebody engaged in short selling of the market. They bet against the market that stocks would do, or Bitcoin in this instance would do worse. There's no, like, what are you talking about? This is not the same as day trading for politicians. A random person that seemed to have insider information because they knew the exact second that these tariffs were going to be announced, which means it probably wasn't China at all. Because just because they might have conversations about tariffs going out doesn't mean that they're like, hey, we're going to announce these at 8 o'clock p.m. No. They went and they bought stock. They short sold stocks. That's what they did. Like, they short sold stocks. They took a stock that was at a particular value. They basically, like, rented that. This is how you do it. You rent the stock from somebody. You borrow the stock from somebody at a certain price. You sell it. So if, let's say you borrow the stock for, let's say, $10 and it's worth $100, and you're like, I will give it back to you in a week. The person knew that it was going to tank, and boom, it tanked, and so he was able to sell a bunch of shit, and then once it tanked, he bought it back. So let's say it tanked and it went down to $30 a share instead of like $100. He bought them all. He sold like 1,000 shares at $100, and he bought all 1,000 shares back at $30, which means that he gained a ton of money, and then he gave it back to the borrower with with however much money that he agreed to borrow it on. That's what happened. Okay, this is not something that you could, like, it's not the same as the way that Congress engages. You don't understand what you're talking about or the difference, and I don't think you even understand any fundamentals about how shorting a stock works. You've no fucking idea what he's talking. He doesn't know what he's saying. He doesn't get what's happening. He's just talking as if he understands what's happening and proposing conspiracy theories about how China actually probably might have done it, maybe, even though that makes no fucking sense whatsoever. He has no idea what he's talking about. Holy shit.
Literal poison. And unfortunately, Citizens United legalized it.
What?
And now it's just awful. That money and politics is a literal poison. And unfortunately, Citizens United legalized
What
it.
does Citizens United have to do with stocks, short selling stocks? Citizens United is basically a rule that like people can spend as much money as they want who advocate for their shit. There's a Supreme Court decision that allowed corporations and labor unions to use unlimited funds for independent political spending, right? It lets them basically spend infinite amounts of money to advocate in whatever way they want. That's bad. Money in politics, great. Not relevant to what we're talking about. Not relevant to what we're talking about. He doesn't know what's happening, so he's just saying things to sound like he knows what he's talking about. Citizens United is an issue. We're talking about shorting stock with particular insider information in a way that wouldn't matter if you legislated against it when it comes to Congress or Citizens United. None of these things matter. This is somebody who clearly had insider information about exactly on the minute when there was going to be an announcement of these tariff announcements.
And now it's just awful.
It goes from suspicious to downright diabolical.
Very, very bad.
Is the fact that at this point, the market dips a little bit.
Still my
viewpoint. You have
viewpoint.
these threats of tariffs.
Yes.
But the person does not start closing out their shorts yet.
No, that's not weird. This trader's just got diamond hands. What? He's not going to close out his position based off of just that one tweet there. No, that wouldn't make any sense. He's just got strong paws to really grip onto his positions here.
Which I think is very interesting. If you place this huge short bet and then the president tweets something like this, you would think you would close out your order. But not only do they not do that, not only do they not close out their short, they continue to place short bets against Bitcoin. In fact, this person continues to short Bitcoin all the way up till 2049-23 GMT. Why is that significant, ladies and gentlemen? It's because...
What happened at 2050?
2049 is the last short he places, okay? 2050 GMT.
I knew it.
A minute later.
No, you didn't. If you knew it, then you wouldn't have pushed this idea that it was somebody from China doing it.
1 minute later, Trump announces they're considering an 100% tariff.
That's a lot of money
on China, which of course tanks the market.
Everything to go down.
And this person makes literally $190 billion in 24 hours.
Then over the course of the next half hour, they close out all of their shorts and they cash out big time jackpot.
That should have been me. That should have been me, guys.
Yeah, like joking about it. Didn't somebody take their life? Why are you joking about this?
Wow, did they get lucky or what?
The reason he's joking about it is because, like, he doesn't care. He's downplaying what's going on here. He's constantly coming up with, like, unvalidated or, like, impossible fucking standards of things that would happen. Oh, could have been somebody from China. They wouldn't know this insider information. This motherfucker is live tweeting what he's doing. China didn't know that there was going to be an implementation of 100% tariff up at that certain point. There's absolutely no way.
Huh? Man, I cannot believe the coinky-dink there. Shorting all the way up until one...
There should be an investigation onto who did this.
Wow. That's somebody in Trump's inner circle, so investigation over, I guess.
Minutes
Absolutely.
before Trump's tweet.
So based.
Geez, some guys have all the luck.
You don't think that it was Trump?
You would actually...
What's the most logical conclusion you would come to? That it was somebody that was either Trump or somebody really close to him with his okay and blessing to do it.
The reason why the government doesn't do this...
The government. Not Trump, the government.
Is because they're all in on it.
Yep, they're all in on it, guys. Okay, that's what it is, downplaying. Okay.
Republicans, gotcha. Democrats, they are all in on this. They're all making money off of this. No.
The Democrats and Republicans are in on Donald Trump. What the fuck are you talking about? What?
Nobody is going to stop the gravy train.
What the fuck is he talking about? What is he saying? What are you talking about, dude? What?
There's only a handful of guys that don't do it.
Be the biggest fuck.
What the fuck are you talking about? What? This information was exclusively known by Donald Trump. What? What the fuck are you talking about? What?
Stupidest troglodyte on the planet to think that this was just like a lucky, miracle trade here from this individual. Yeah. This is clearly someone that had information about what was coming.
Of course.
The speculation is that it's Barron.
Then if you're saying of course, then why are you pretending that it's not Trump?
Barron Trump.
Or that it's not like a very, almost 100% likely. It's very close to likely that it was somebody in Trump's like inner circle that knew what he was about to say.
There's a lot of...
And they were unpunished.
There's no reason why anybody should think that it's Barron Trump.
Yeah, okay, why?
There is literally no... Why do people think that? Because
probably because Donald Trump was most likely in on whatever was happening.
They know Barron Trump, and he's young, and so young people are going to use computers. Like, okay. I mean, really, like, what are we doing?
I think it's more because Donald Trump is a corrupt piece of dog shit, but okay.
In here.
Providing their loose evidence that it's Barron. Yes. Nothing's confirmed on who this is, and I don't think there will ever be confirmation on who this was. But it doesn't take a galaxy brain 5-digit IQ genius to see this and recognize that the only way that something like this happens is if that person had prior knowledge of what was coming. There is no other explanation for it. So while everyone else lost tons of money, some people lost everything. This crash was so colossal that some people took their own lives because of it. The only way that someone went totally against the grain all the way up until 1 minute before the fucking, bomb dropped from Trump here is if they knew it was coming. Like, it's just, I think it is so clear. And the only way you could possibly think anything else is if you're already brainwashed and mind-controlled and stuck in a...
It's possible that...
It's overwhelmingly likely that it's Trump.
It was a coincidence.
It's not. Up until a minute, you're being stupid on purpose. You're just trying to cast doubt into the fact that this was almost 100% fucking obviously Trump.
But it's not likely.
No shit.
I would say there's a 99% chance it wasn't a coincidence.
And that's so generous. 99?
Mentality. I really don't know what it will take to snap people out of this. The people that are just so far gone and willing to deny all the evidence of their eyes and ears, that they're constantly being told that they need to. Following these orders of just deny everything that you see and hear from this administration and everything going on. I don't know how you bring them back into, like, being able to think.
This is a meta-level problem.
Okay, got it. Meta-level problem. It's not a meta-level problem. This problem is worse in every meaningful capacity when it comes to MAGA than it is for anybody else. It's not a meta-level problem. Not in the way that you want to pretend that it is. It's not happening on both sides the way that you want to pretend that it is. Not a meta-level problem. MAGA people are fucking unhinged lunatics. That's what it comes down to. And they'll believe anything and they don't care. It's not a meta-level problem.
I think he's right. Is that people are completely consumed by dogma. I think that one of the big reasons why is because political, oh, shit. I think it's probably the... the celebrity nature of politics nowadays.
Oh, and wow. I mean, because Donald Trump is a celebrity? Or
I think that the celebrity nature of politics has lent itself very well to enabling people to become extremely cult of personality-ish, right? And I think you're seeing this happen, like, I'll give out some names, right? I think Trump's like this. I think AOC's like this. I think Zoran Mandami's like this. I think he does a very good job at it, in fact. I think Bernie, to a lesser extent, is like this, even though I consider him very much a good actor. I like Bernie, but I do think that he definitely, even unwillingly, is part of this phenomenon.
What the fuck are you talking about? What is what are you rambling about?
I think Marjorie Taylor Greene, or whatever, MGT, like whatever the fuck her name is one of these. And I think that the more and more people that are elevated to this, like, celebrity status through politics, it will...
What the fuck does this have to do with anything that's being said right now? We are talking about somebody who very clearly is attached to Trump in some capacity, having some kind of fucking insider information, and they were able to short a bunch of stocks and gain a significant amount of money with information that only somebody close to Trump would be able to get. And now you're sitting here talking about celebrity statuses of people. What the fuck are you talking about?
Create a form of demagogism and effectively just, celebrity worship with this individual. And I think that Trump definitely, like, you had this with Obama.
There is no celebrity, there is nobody like Donald Trump when it comes to this fucking worshipping of a celebrity individual.
Obama. Like, you did have this with Obama for sure. But, and I think also...
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. There was nobody that was an unhinged fucking lunatic. There's an entire group of people who defended Trump causing a fucking insurrection. That wouldn't have happened with anybody else. What are you talking about? It's not even close. People liked Obama because he was an effective president that actually got us some progress forward when it comes to fucking healthcare and pulled us out of the worst recession since the Great Depression. Donald Trump inherited a decent economy under Obama, and he just continuously deficit spent and added more money into the market like a fucking idiot. What are you talking about?
According to like my dad and other people that I've talked to that are a lot older, JFK was a lot like this too. That's at least like what they've explained to me. But I think also like Trump definitely created a like a modern version of it, and he made it work.
Like actually
Reagan, yeah, I think Reagan
it's
too.
Fucking terrifying. It's actually extremely scary. So yeah, I wanted to yap about this morning. That's really about it. So yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, overall, I think this is kind of a mixed video for me. Like, some of the things I agree with, some of the things I don't agree with. I think that, in general, the reason why a lot of people probably are like, I've seen a lot of negative comments about this video, some positive comments, etc. I think probably more positive than negative, definitely. But, like, what I'm really saying is that I think that the reason why a lot of people approach, you know, Charlie talking about this with a lot of, like, they don't really view it as authentic, is because, number one, I think that Charlie just recently made a video about, what's his name? Hassan. And I think that people would easily say that, well, this is something that, you know, he's just doing this because, you know, a lot of Hassan people were angry at him.
I see. This is the second video in a row where all Asmongold does is when he needs to boil the person down to somebody who's worried about optics. What he's saying right now is because Charlie criticized Hassan, who was on the left, he needed to criticize somebody on the right. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying right now.
And this is posturing for him to not lose that type of an
It's fucking crazy
audience, right? I think there's definitely people that will see it that way. I think there's
you see it that way. You want to try to encourage that. That's why you're bringing it up.
There are people that will see it as, you know, like you can look at brainwashing that people have, and I think it's very evident to any person who isn't very, like, I mean, I don't know how much Charlie keeps up with this kind of stuff, right? And a little true. Well, like, yeah, I mean, anti-Trump, he was not authentic. Well, I think that really whenever you're talking about meta-level problems like money and politics, and you take a meta-level problem like money and politics, and then you make it exclusive to one party, it does seem like you're obviously trying to advocate for,
Dude, it's
for one
so
point.
boring. Listening to Asmongold talk, he's so stupid and on purpose. Yeah, we're talking about a meta conversation. This is not a meta conversation. We are not having a meta conversation about money and politics. We are having a specific conversation about how somebody that obviously had some kind of insider knowledge of when exactly Trump's tariffs were going to be announced on fucking Truth Social was able to take advantage and fucking short the stock market and make a significant amount of money. This is tremendously different than anything that you're fucking talking about. What are you saying? You're just saying words.
Point of view, right? And so that's really the difference here. So I think that it really it's an issue of like the right message, but communicated in a way that I think people considered it inauthentic.
What?
So does that make sense? Like a lot of what Charlie
doesn't.
was saying at a very baseline, I think that most of you guys and all of us agree with, right? I mean, pretty much. But I think that the only issue is that making it out like it is a like exclusive thing for you know, like Trump, which I don't think is true. This has been
This instant was an exclusive Trump thing, but okay. We love that we just make things up. I love it. Personally, I love making shit up just for the fun of it. It's fantastic, and it's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much, Asmongold, for your terrible dogshit insight into saying shit you have no fucking idea about. It's my favorite thing in the entire world when you do that. It's just so beautiful.
very, very...
So fucking beautiful, dude.